Jonathan Taylor, there he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. Indy.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Jamie Rosenquist, he wins the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Game day. Not sure if it hits the same as something in September, October, November, etc., but we don't do many shows the day of a Colts game, but we are doing one on this Thursday morning, 12 hours and 30 minutes from now. It will be one Anthony Richardson under center preseason opener. Colts and Patriots from Foxborough. Good Thursday morning to you. It's the first time it hasn't rained in 48 hours. In all seriousness, hope everybody has withstood some of the power outages and storm damages around the listening area around the state of Indiana. I'm Kevin Bowen. James Boyd is back from Foxborough. Mark Dykton has got the cobwebs of the headphones figured out. I saw you in there. Looked like you need some tweezers to get them all.
Well, it wasn't a zipper situation like you had, but I had a knot all of a sudden. I was like, can't do that. I don't want to choke myself.
Every time I put those shorts on, I think of you.
Wow, what a way to start the morning.
I'm going to isolate that sound and save it forever.
So thank you for what you did, and thank you for co-hosting yesterday. When you're co-hosting with Greg Rakestraw, Mark, you can kind of kick the feet up a little bit, right?
Yeah, he was great despite being on Zoom from Boston. So we got the little, he gave us a little tour of the hotel room and everything like that. So Greg Rakestraw out there in Boston getting ready for his call of the preseason opener against the Colts and Patriots tonight.
Fox 59, Greg Rakestraw will have you there with Rick Venturi and Lara Overton. Of course, the radio call. We will have the voice of the Colts, one Matt Taylor, joining us coming up at 9:30. Him and Charles Arbuckle. That will be your radio duo. And then, of course, Lara will slide over there once the season gets here. And looking forward to chatting with Jack Doyle coming up at 8:30. Preseason game or preseason openers here. So we'll chat with the former Colts tight end, the pride of the East Side, a man that was up in Canton, Ohio, this past weekend for the Adventary Hall of Fame induction. James, safe and sound, you are back in the Circle City.
Yes, I had to get up early to get moving and grooving, but probably better to get up early. That way you can deal with maybe minimal delays on the way there and the way back. So glad to be back in Indianapolis and excited to watch tonight's game.
You make anything of Anthony getting the first crack at it?
No, not really. I thought that when I was at the joint practice Tuesday, Riley probably got slightly more second team reps. I know at the end of the team periods to be specific, they allowed the first stringers and the backups to get a last 2-minute drill, and Riley took those reps, not Anthony. So again, they continue to split the reps, but I'm not reading too much into him starting. But for his purposes, he should read all the way into it. This is a chance for you to showcase what you can do and perhaps boost your trade stock or really just boost your own self-esteem. I don't know if he's really been all that confident throughout training camp. I don't want to get into his head too much because I don't know him or as far as being in his brain, but I think that this could go a long way if he just plays pretty well.
Yeah, I think it means a ton to him. If I were him, I'd feel very grateful I'm getting the first opportunity. Because, can I send a message? Can I put some pressure on Riley Leonard? Right now, I'd say Anthony Richardson is behind Riley Leonard. Well, if I'm behind that person, I want to make sure, A, I get an opportunity, period. And B, I think it's good that you get the first chance to try and do something. This is, I guess, the one-year anniversary, not exactly date-wise, but preseason opener-wise, where I thought the final nail kind of went into the Anthony Richardson coffin for last year in that competition with Daniel Jones. Remember, he didn't even get a chance to play in the final preseason game last year. They went with Riley Leonard last year in that final preseason game for the vast majority. They didn't even give Richardson that chance at the end there. So, I think tonight is very, very big for him. And if I were him, I'd be like, okay, I'm glad that I'm getting the start in this one versus next week. So plenty we will get into about tonight and James's thoughts in general on the joint practice out there and everything that's transpired. Boy, it was busy, man. You were dealing with Alec Pierce, this, that, PRP, yes, PRP, no. Chris Ballard's talking. That wasn't just a ho-hum 48 hours for you
I had
there.
to work way too much before the practice actually started. But we can talk about it. I talked about it with JMV. the day that everything kind of went down, and I'm here to defend my honor in my reporting. But in all seriousness, I'm glad to get a lot of that stuff cleared up.
A slew of starters will not play tonight. That was the language that Shane Steichen used, so we'll get into exactly what that could mean, and again, everything that transpired Tuesday when James was out there for the joint practice and what we are keeping an eye on for tonight. You heard from Tyrese Halliburton yesterday. Pacers had some news. We continue to see the NBA schedule trickle out. Have we gotten that official word, Mark? I know we discussed this Tuesday. Thursday at 3? Is that happening? It feels like we've now announced every game but all of them.
That's the rumor. I mean, yeah, some Pacers games leaked and everything like that, but
like NBA Cup here, President's Day here. I'm like, okay, are we just give us a schedule at this point?
At this point, I don't even care about the schedule. Where am I watching these Pacers games at? Give me that news.
Yeah, touche. We did hear from Tyrese Halliburton yesterday, and the NBA, I think, is certainly the league that's kind of taken this on more than anything. But the phrase of like catering to your star, making sure your star feels welcome, comfortable, wants to call your place home. I think that is a very, very, very important quality in professional sports, period. And I think the NBA, we speak more to that. It just seems like there's more player movement.
Yeah.
I guess with that league, especially at the top of it. And first off, I think Tyrese Halliburton strikes me as someone that, like, I mean, hell, he's got Midwest roots and has enjoyed this, and probably the trade has helped the Pacers situation. But like something as simple on paper to me as, oh yeah, go play a preseason game in Ames, Iowa. Go play a preseason game in Hilton Coliseum. That building seems to mean a whole lot to Tyrese Halliburton. The man got engaged in there. That is like just smart business by the Pacers. You know, it's like, all right, yeah, that checks a box. Is it maybe a little bit of a hassle? I don't know, perhaps. But you hear Tyrese Halliburton talk about it yesterday. He clearly loves it. And it sounds like it was a little bit of Halliburton's idea, to be fair. And the Pacers were like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's find the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, wow, their G League team is in Des Moines. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And it sounds like, James, that's going to be the first time we see Tyrese Halliburton. And for all the debate about Daniel Jones in the preseason and how many starters are going to play, Tyrese Halliburton's going to play that night.
Yeah.
So go ahead and circle that on the calendar. October 7th, Ames, Iowa, Iowa State, Pacers, Timberwolves, preseason game. I don't think it's that premature for me to say that's the first time we'll see Tyrese Halliburton back in a Pacers uniform on the floor.
I can't wait for it. He's a great human and obviously a great player as well. And I got a kick out of him saying yesterday that, yeah, I saw these sources said that I can be ready for the start of the season. Well, I'm the source and I'm ready. And I was like, there's nobody who breaks the fourth wall like Tyrese Halliburton. Pretty candid and very self-deprecating in an endearing way with his basketball journey and the things that he's kind of gone through. So glad that he seems to be over the shingles as well, at least to the point where it's not affecting his basketball routine. So excited to see him back out there, and really just excited to see this new group, because the last time we saw him, this team looked different and they were in a different spot. And now you have a chance to kind of go back out there and prove that the success you had prior to all the changes you kind of made can still be attained with the healthy Halliburton and company.
Yeah, and I think there's some newness even for Halliburton still. Like he mentioned yesterday, he's yet to play with Ivica Zubac. You know, even in a practice setting, even in a, whatever, pickup game, sort of setting. So, like, yeah, that is a question that remains to be seen, a little over a month away from a training camp. Fever back in action tomorrow. Paige Beckers and the Wings won last night. Again, big win for the Fever earlier this week over the Liberty. It's another big one coming up on Friday and Sunday. And James, certainly plenty of news items since you were, I guess you weren't there on Tuesday because you were in Foxborough. But Stephanie White's pregame chatter had a whole lot of headlines on that. And then the Fever went out and I thought played pretty good basketball, especially against a team that matchup-wise, I just don't know if it totally kind of fits in the Liberty. But I thought the Fever were really good the other night.
Yeah, I did see the Stephanie White pregame comments and even Caitlin's comments after the game where she defended her coach and kind of said it stunk to have her coach be booed by some of the fans at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I think that Stephanie White has dealt with a whole lot this year and probably more than she's ever really going to share publicly, but it was good to see them keep it focused on basketball and play well. So to credit the Fever, man, it seems like every week there's always something going on with this team, but they just continue to play good basketball, and they've climbed to that 4th spot, which will get you home court advantage in the first round. But, if they want to get greedy, they're not, that far back from the Aces right now. Looking at the standings, the Aces are 23-11. The Fever are 21-12. So got a chance to keep climbing.
And that would be 2 playoff series at home.
Yes.
If you would get to the 2 seed there. That's the big, again, it's a 1 through 8 playoff bracket. And Mark, I think I've said this a million times in the last 6 months. And I probably got duped. Did I see that we could have some sort of Bears press conference today?
Oh, boy.
So that part is true. There was also a rumor that apparently the state of Indiana was going to try to get the Indiana Bears thing going. That seems to be completely false and everything. But there is supposedly a press conference of some sort. But even the Hammond mayor was like, I don't really know what it's about. So I'm like, well, you're not in the loop then. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. I've heard, rumblings, but nothing confirmed of what it could be.
Changing the Chicago Bears to the Indiana
It was
Bears.
just clown behavior what I saw on social media yesterday, people falling for that. So apparently there might be a press conference tomorrow or today. Who knows?
Well,
and who knows where they're going?
Yesterday, there was a little chill in the air. I could have rocked our sweatshirt there.
We're getting that time of year.
Yeah.
Soup season and sweater weather.
Soup season. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're quite there, but yes, we are nearing it. Jack Doyle at 8:30. That is your Colts tight end. When I see 84 jerseys, I still think of Doyle.
Yeah.
Every time I see him at training camp, I'm like, is that Doyle or is that Warren?
I'll tell you what, Warren was cooking in that
Sounded
joint
like
practice. Yeah. He looked very good.
Sounded like Tyler Warren certainly had his way with the Patriots. I assume he will be one of those in street clothes coming up in about 12
What do you
hours.
mean? He's got to prove himself on Sundays.
Earn your spot, man.
Right.
I think he falls in the category of a slew of starters, to use the Shane Steichen phrase there. So plenty on this Thursday morning. Again, it is a game day, if you will. The preseason opener is in a little over 12 hours. We'll get you set for that. What is the latest on Alec Pierce? James will take us behind the scenes on that. And Position Watch. I think today we'll go through each position group. One thing to keep an eye out for coming up tonight in that preseason opener. So a lot on the plate here on this Thursday morning. I don't know. Part of me kind of is looking forward to tonight. I get it's a preseason opener, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yes. I mean, I'll take anything where I can say, okay, they actually played a game.
Fernando Mendoza tonight, 8:00, right? ESPN.
Yes. My dad will be locked in.
Dabble in a little Raiders Cardinals, I think it is.
Yeah,
Tonight,
Raiders Cardinals, yep.
on ESPN. Good Thursday morning to you. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Mark Dykton. We're back together right here. Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
checked out. Brought to you by Bet365 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, we're back together here on this Thursday morning. It's a game day, preseason game number 1. What do I got here, Mark? Game countdown to kickoff beginning 6:30. JMV stops at 4:30. Well, I guess he doesn't stop, right? Because doesn't he do the pregame show?
Does he ever stop? No.
That's well said.
Can't stop, won't stop.
If I'm reading the board right, JMV will have you for the first 90, and then he'll transition. A lot of Rick Venturi, I know, on the pregame show, and 7:30 is our kickoff for tonight. If you're watching it locally, that's Fox 59 with Greg Rakestraw, Rick Venturi, and Lara Overton. It is Colts. It is Patriots. James Boyd. If I removed Richardson and Leonard from it, anything else top of mind for you tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking about Jalen Tuimoloau. He actually left the practice against the Patriots with a limp. I'm not sure what was going on. He kind of came up limping in a team period, but he looked to be walking way better after practice, so we'll see if he's going to be a go tonight, but would love to see some reps from him, what development he's made. Seth McGowan, the backup running back, how does he look? And linebackers, again, I wouldn't expect C.J. Allen to play because he's been out with the hamstring injury, but Bryce Betcher is somebody who quietly, I think, is building a case to get some starting reps to start the season.
So we'll get into each position group, a thing that we want to keep an eye out for tonight. We'll do that and much more on where things stand with Alec Pierce. James will share some of that here coming up on the other side. Indiana Fever, they are back in action tomorrow night. That is the Dallas Wings. Paige Becker's and the Wings got a much-needed win last night over Toronto. They're a little banged up right now. Easy Fudd, Jessica Shepard, both missed last night's win for them. They've kind of struggled here as of late. But, James, it's another big one. Mark and I kind of hit on this a lot Tuesday of, amidst everything going on with the Fever, and we saw more of it on Tuesday. A, they're playing very good basketball. B, this is a huge week for them standings-wise. So I thought Tuesday was a major step in the right direction for them. But, again, Friday will be big, and these two teams I don't believe have played since the opener. That was a great, high-scoring back-and-forth game. Dallas actually came in here and won in that opener.
Yeah, that was one of those losses that the Fever had this year where they've actually scored 100-plus points. So, again, just play a modicum of defense, and this team is really good.
Oh, good SAT word.
I know. I can't spell it, though.
Boy, I'm glad that you said that because I sure as hell can't. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I would have got it wrong.
I got no chance. Pacers, some news items yesterday, a lot of schedule-related items. Let's start here. I would say the biggest news is we now can put the date in the calendar of when Tyrese Halliburton will get back on the floor. October 7th, and this will actually be in the collegiate home of Tyrese Halliburton. Sounds like this was his idea, and the Pacers, as they should, said yes to their star player. Back at the Hilton Coliseum there, it will be Pacers-Timberwolves in the preseason opener on October 7th. They will be inside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse October 10th. Obviously, we'll see how the Pacers treat the preseason with Halliburton. But, James, I'm willing to guess that you don't schedule a game at Iowa State to have Tyrese Halliburton sitting in street clothes.
No, I think that would be bad PR. So excited to see him get back on the court. And maybe he'll do one of those through-the-leg dunks that we saw throughout his ramp-up.
Said first time he's done that since he was about 20 years old. Sounds like he's going to get even more into – he basically said yesterday if they played tomorrow in a real game, he would play.
Yes.
But it sounds like he's going to ramp it up a little bit more here, go out to L.A., do some of those pro-ams, start to play against NBA players.
Yeah.
And then it looks like they're going to do a mini camp away from the facility here at some point, which a lot of these NBA teams do before training camp. So good news on the Halliburton front. Other items, they will be in prime time on President's Day. The NBA has certainly catered a lot to heavy basketball on Martin Luther King Day in January, and then also President's Day in February there. This will be out west, which I love this. Usually those out west games are like 10 o'clock, 10:30. This is 7:30 our time. It'll be Pacers at Golden State to cap a 4-game slate for the NBA on that day. And they announced the NBA Cup games, which, again, the Pacers are in a very loaded group here. This includes the Heat, the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Sixers. So on Friday, November 13th, you can circle this one, Pacers-Knicks inside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And then I know the Thanksgiving Friday game, we're kind of used to that, right?
Yeah.
The tree lighting downtown. It's always been a kind of an appointment game for the Pacers. How about LeBron and the Sixers in town? A couple big Fridays there in the month of November.
I'm not mad at it. I think these are marquee games, but hoping to get some more primetime games on the schedule.
And can we get a Charlotte Hornets-esque TV deal? Did you see that? All their games will be on linear television.
Really? One of their local channels there?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to say the Suns did this last year or the year before too, Mark. So I would love that kind of setup as well.
And just to remind everybody, remember the NBA Cup, the championship, Hinkle Fieldhouse, coming up on December 11th. What else? Fernando Mendoza in action tonight, 8 o'clock. Raiders, Cardinals. Jesse Boyd locked in.
He's locked in. He believes Fernando Mendoza can change the direction of the franchise, but let's just hope that while he's trying to do so, Max Crosby isn't near him. As Max Crosby and Kirk Cousins like kiss and made up.
Oh, yeah. I saw they got into it the other day. Yeah.
Could you imagine if somebody actually hits Fernando Mendoza in practice?
Fernando Mendoza's probably like, well, I know he's way too nice of a guy to.
Yeah, I don't think he's that nice.
Cheer for a black eye on Kirk Cousins there. Shout out to one of the more unique NBA players of all time, hanging it up yesterday. That would be one Russell Westbrook. You know, Westbrook to me, first off, I always enjoyed watching him because he was entertaining as hell. He I don't want to say that he made triple doubles normal. But, it got to a point, James, where I would see Russell Westbrook box scores, and I'd be like, man, he almost does that every night.
Yeah.
And it's like having a triple-double every night. I get it, like Magic, LeBron. I don't know. Maybe there's others you think of in the triple-double category. I think of Westbrook.
Yeah, I mean, he's number one all time. And for the longest time, we never thought we'd see a triple-double be averaged again outside of Oscar Robertson. Then he did it, he being Russell Westbrook, 4 different seasons. And the first time he did it was his MVP year, the year after Kevin Durant left. And that was some of the craziest psycho basketball you'll ever see. He averaged 30, 10, and 10 as a point guard. It was amazing.
Yeah, he would, it wouldn't even be an entertaining watch now I think about it. It would be a stressful watch, watching him play basketball.
Well, yeah, to be fair, late game situations, sometimes Westbrook would just drive you nuts.
Oh,
but, I mean, he played with the heart of a lion.
So talented. So talented.
Just a super athletic freak. I mean,
we really haven't seen anyone like him since. Oladipo a little bit, but again, nothing like that.
John Morant a little bit.
John Morant, probably a little bit more of a point guard, but yeah, still not to that level.
Just the force. Nah, nobody. Him and Derrick Rose were the two from that era before the injuries for Derrick Rose that really redefined, okay, wait, that's a point guard?
I thought Westbrook could have played safety in the NFL with how crazy
he looks like he still could.
That hell reminds me of LeBron Landry. IndyCar back in action north of the border. It will be, I think, just north of Toronto coming up here this weekend. And again, they are in D.C. Speaking of IndyCar, I saw some first pitches. Mark, did you see the first pitches we had last night around Major League Baseball? We had Marcus Erickson for the Nationals. Again, the D.C. race next week. Christian Lundgaard for the Blue Jays. They're up there coming up on Sunday. Did you see we had Sister Mary Jo at the White Sox game?
Well, it was Pope night the other night, so they gave out Pope hats with the White Sox logo on, so I think that was the reason for that.
And I knew the Reds were screwed.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo, former Red, just absolutely mowing them down. 2 hits there. Is Alex Bregman still hitting home runs?
Yeah, 3 last night against the Nationals. They clubbed him after a while, so that's good to see. And don't look now, Brewers' lead is down to only 3 in the NL Central.
Hey, you can't steal my line. That's my line.
Don't look now?
Yeah.
Well, is that your line or is that the Reds line?
Yeah, that's me. Don't look now. Here come the Red Legs.
Okay,
Oh, my gosh.
Come on now.
Sorry.
Get
Did you
something
copyright
original.
it?
We got some
You
copyright
trademark it?
infringement this morning.
Rock your Cubs shirt. You're kind of strutting today about the Bears' big press conference.
I don't think I'm strutting for that thing. By the way, Tyrese Halliburton going to throw out the first pitch at Wrigley September 3rd.
And that's a big one, right?
That's a big one. Yeah.
Cubs and Brewers?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Halliburton was a Cubs fan.
Well, when you're playing the Brewers, everyone's a Cubs fan, except Joel Erickson.
He's got something against the Brewers, right? Because he's a Wisconsin kid.
I think, do you remember they took his first pitch back?
Was that what it was?
I think he beat the Bucks in the playoffs, and then they took the first pitch back or something like that.
That makes sense.
I forget exactly what the details are, but yeah, he's got some beef with the Brewers.
Hopefully Mizorowski's on the mound that day, and Halliburton can throw the choke sign up, and then Mizorowski gives up 7 bombs.
Oh, you imagine Joel Erickson waiting in the dugout to just kick Tyrese in his calf or something.
I was going to say, if he wants to be living here in this area, he bet not.
All right, what are we watching for tonight in the preseason opener? What was everything Alec Pierce related? We'll let James share his thoughts on that and what happened at the joint practice. And by all accounts, the Colts finished that practice in an emphatic, positive, I should say, fashion there on Tuesday. So plenty to get to coming up here. Reminder, Jack Doyle, 8:30. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, 9:30 on a game day. Mark, please tell me this weather update is going to tell us that we don't need to build Noah's Ark.
Today's forecast from the Fox 59 Weather Authority.
After a foggy start, it will be warm and humid with mostly cloudy skies. More scattered showers and thunderstorms develop this afternoon and evening. A couple of strong to severe storms are possible. Highs will rise into the mid-80s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings, that is indoor and outdoor concrete. Garages, patios, basements, porches, sidewalks. Online, very simple, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. That's the place to start. Before and after pictures available to you, and they can help you out today. Again, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. That is the website. We're talking indoor and outdoor concrete. Manufacturers upgrade the warranties from 15 years to lifetime. So you got to love that. And really efficient process. And that was happened. Tyler and Preston on site were really, really smooth with their efficiency. One thing that we love about this, it kind of matches our home. And yes, our home 100 years old, but it also has, just an updated feel to it. So that was something that we really, really were looking forward to because frankly, we just needed anything new sidewalk and front porch wise. Again, that's galaxyconcretecoatings.com. It's indoor and outdoor residential or workplace, garages, basements, patios, porches, and sidewalks. Galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
You going game day playlist today?
You read my mind.
Hire Mark Dyson for your tailgate.
I do think you would bring, or have brought, I should say, because I assume you've been to tailgates, good vibes to the tailgates.
Oh, yeah.
You got a burn CD.
Yeah.
You know, LimeWire right here.
Who wants to listen to Trick Daddy? Let's go.
Right.
I got that one there. Give me a brat. Give me a shotgun of beer. Let's roll.
You know, maybe a tailgate you really like. You're like, okay, this is the Phil Collins in the air tonight. We can wait for the drum solo.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a system. There's a routine. If anyone wants to jump through a table, go ahead. Not going to shun you.
12 hours from now, ball will be in the air, some air, I guess. I don't know who's kicking off or what, but Colts Patriots, and you obviously can hear that on our airwaves. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, going to join us at 9:30, 8:30. We'll have Jack Doyle, who's actually in Canton, Ohio. Speaking of Colts, speaking of Patriots, speaking of Adam Vinatieri, we'll have Jack on coming up at 8:30 today and continue to go over what we will be watching for tonight. Again, Anthony Richardson getting the start, getting a half of work in, and then Riley Leonard's time. They will reverse that a week from Sunday inside of Lucas Oil Stadium when it's Colts and Falcons. James, let's go back to Tuesday morning because, you know, Mark and I talked a lot about the Alec Pierce situation. You know, my thought kind of then was, is this changing the 4 to 6 month timetable? You know, that's kind of where I'm at of like, okay, if you keep on going back to Pierce, you keep on going back to Pierce's comments. I mean, we are kind of still in 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, we're like, what, 4.5, I think?
Right. You know, so like we're kind of still there. So I kind of got away from like, you know, what does a second PRP mean? And, you know, all of those sorts of things. But I understand full well that a lot of people were gravitating towards that news. And then all of a sudden after the show, Chris Ballard meets with you guys out in Foxborough and the Colts, you know, I guess clarify where things are at with Pierce. So can you kind of fill us in on everything that maybe you reported and then clarified, I guess, once Ballard hit the mic there on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, so to be clear, this started because Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and kind of mentioned in passing that Alec got another injection in his ankle. And as any reporter would, you follow up on that. And I try to tell myself, Kevin, that these things matter a lot more now than in the past with Alec Pierce because he's now a $100 million receiver. He's now wide receiver 1. If this were Alec coming out of his rookie year, then maybe it's a footnote in a story, but now it is a major story whenever anything happens with his health. So I followed up to see, okay, reached out to a team source. Did this platelet-rich plasma injection happen again? And I was told that it did happen again and that it happened in June. And I write that up. I put that out there. And not to say that I verify my own reporting by what others report, but typically when you report something, Kevin, and you've been in these shoes before, and Fox 59 picks it up, Mike Chappell, and Nathan Brown, Andy Starr picks it up, and others on the beat who you think do the job very well and honorably, you feel okay about what you've reported because it's like, okay, I'm not just going out on this rogue limb by myself on a very important topic. Others are able to confirm their side of their reporting, and it all kind of has this consensus. And then the next morning, I wake up and I get a text saying from this team source, oh, actually, I misspoke. And at that point, I'm like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And I do think the Colts probably felt like, well, it is our star player. There's a lot going on. So let's just have our general manager come out here and clear the air. So I appreciate Chris Ballard doing that. And yeah, I will admit that it can be frustrating when your credibility takes a hit because you think you've done the job well. And as you always have when it comes to vetting sources. And to be clear, I think some people don't understand how it works, at least in my world. When I get something from a source, it is not just me going rogue and running to social media and tweeting it out immediately. Like, it goes through a vetting process. Like, my editor knows who the source is. The editor above them knows who the source is. I probably had 5 editors look at this before we went with it. So it wasn't just me putting this out there and saying, oh, okay, I take you, at 100% your word. I did, but it also was verified through a regular reporting process. And unfortunately, this time it didn't work out in my favor. I take full responsibility for that. But at the same time, there's a reason why we all had to go back and kind of amend our reporting there. So no second PRP injection for Alec Pierce. He still, like you said, is within that 4 to 6 month recovery timeline. And then I guess fittingly and positively, aside from all of the things that happened leading up to the joint practice, there was Alec Pierce in cleats doing some individual work off to the side, which was an encouraging sign.
Yeah, I'd say that action is probably maybe the biggest news item from Tuesday. I mean, again, I appreciate you sharing all of that, but that is a huge thing to see. And again, you want to see more of it. We've seen, if you go out to Grand Park, the Colts have this third practice field that they don't really use for practice at all. It's kind of their rehab field. And some days you'll see some of the guys that have missed a few days of work, they'll be over there at some point during practice getting work. And then typically, if they're over there for a couple days, then they show up back to practice. Because didn't Hunter Wohler practice on Tuesday?
Yes, he
for
did.
example. Like, he was over there one of those days. Josh Downs, I think, was over there. And then he was back when you were out there in Foxborough. So not to say Pierce is going to be back Saturday when they get back to Westfield, but that is a positive step that he was doing anything.
It was the most encouraging sign.
Because I don't think we've seen him do that at Grand Park.
Exactly.
Just to add.
This was the most encouraging sign of him doing anything football related since the injury has occurred, at least publicly, because every time we've seen him at Grand Park, Kevin, it's been a lot of standing and watching, talking to Shane Steichen, talking to Reggie Wayne. And so we were not allowed to record any of this. So the people who kept asking me, hey, where's the video? I would love to have given you the video, but we were only able to take still photos, and those photos had to be without a trainer, we were told. But I did see it with my own eyes. He didn't go out there and run like a go route right in front of us, full speed, but he was moving around. And again, positive sign for him. And I guess to appease some of the fans, I did put a video out of him walking up a slight incline to sign a couple autographs, take some photos after practice. And people dissected that as they wish. I'm not going to overanalyze a 15-second clip of him walking around, but the fact that he's in cleats is a good sign.
Save that for me. Remember, I referenced myself as the limp police back in the spring.
Yeah, but to be fair to you, he wasn't limping like that anymore. Boy, that was a very noticeable limp, and I think that's fair to report.
So I don't want to hit on Pierce for the next 2.5 hours, but I do want to just a couple more things on this topic before we set the scene for tonight in the preseason opener. One is this. A question that I would have for Chris Ballard would be, I guess, what changed from opening day of training camp for you? Because on opening day of training camp, Ballard said 1 to 2 weeks. Well, now we're into week 3. So as much as Pierce's own timetable, to be clear, of 4 to 6 months is still very much happening, what Ballard said 2 weeks ago Tuesday is not happening. So that would be one thing that, again, and not that we aren't going to hear from Chris Ballard for, I don't know, I guess we do hear from him at the end of roster cuts now that I think about it out loud. What changed from 16 days ago when originally he goes, it'll be a week, it'll probably be a week, maybe 2, I think was the exact phrase that he said. Well, now again, we are into 3. So not that he had a PRP injection in the last 2 weeks, because, if you believe Chris Howard's words on Tuesday, he did not. Pierce did not have any of that. But again, what has changed to now that timetable was not reached? So that would be one. And then the other phrase he used when he spoke with you guys on Tuesday, James, was, and he was referencing this in terms of all injured players. All injured players, when they come back, there is a new normal you have to get used to.
Yeah.
And he said that, I think, a bit more generically.
Yeah.
But that is a question that I do have in regards to DeForest Buckner, for example, this year, or Alec Pierce this year. And again, the Buckner injuries.
Daniel Jones.
Right. Daniel Jones, of course. The Buckner injury and the Pierce injury probably aren't fair to compare, but I'm just using some frontline players that are dealing with injury situations, because we've never seen Pierce really hurt. We've never seen him miss a month, 2 months. This is easily the longest we've seen him miss time. I think at Cincinnati, he was relatively healthy throughout his time there as well. So again, his skill set is unique. He brings an ingredient to that receiver position that no one else has. it's easier to replace Michael Pittman Jr. than it is to replace Alec Pierce. I've said that many times over last year when we've kind of debated those two and their futures within the Colts. So when he said that phrase, it was just one of those kind of reminders of, by all accounts, I don't think this is an injury and a surgery that was supposed to hinder his 2026 season in a significant way or alter his career moving forward. Not like the DeForest Buckner, neck nerve surgery at the age of 32. So that, I guess, would be the other question I would have is just, does this impact Pierce any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, and that's fair to ask. And
instead of hitting 50 homers a year, James, is he hitting 30? If we can baseball analogy it a little bit more.
That's fair. And that's why we're all just giddy to kind of see him get back out there to assess this thing further. Because I think that Alec is such a unique talent that you can't really replicate what he does. And even if he isn't 100% himself, you can't just scheme your way out of that. I mean, we're talking about the best deep threat in the league and one of the best we've seen in the last quarter century. And it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but if you go back and look, there's only been 3 players in the last 30 years who've had 1,000 receiving yards on less than 50 receptions in a season. It's him, Mike Williams in 2019, and Deshaun Jackson, who you all know was a speedster in 2010. So it's very rare to have a guy who doesn't have to have a ton of volume reach 1,000 yards. And then this year, the obvious next step will be for him to ramp that up and get more targets, get more opportunities to flip the field, and really do other things within the route tree. So that ankle's got to be feeling good for that to happen.
On the good injury news front, you were out there Tuesday at the joint practice. Josh Downs is back and had a big touchdown to end practice. Hunter Wohler was back after missing well over a week. And Justin Wally, who we saw miss a little bit of time over the weekend, he was back. So good injury news there.
Yes.
Will you share a little bit on the Mooney Ward front? That was the other update that Chris Ballard had. Again, most of these injured guys are still in Foxborough with the team rehabbing. Mooney Ward is not, because of why?
He is out because of some back soreness, and I will read you what exactly was said by Chris Ballard. Here it is. He said that Ward is out due to, quote, some back pain and irritation. When I followed up and said, okay, is there a timeline? When is he going to be back? I was told there is no timeline right now. So that is not all that great of news, to be honest with you, especially with somebody who's been through a whole lot. Apparently, he didn't feel great after the last practice here in Indiana.
Sunday. Mm-hmm.
The Sunday practice. Had a flare-up or whatever you want to call it, and then they decided to just hold him back because he wasn't going to play in the Thursday game anyway. But, yeah, he's missed a little bit of time throughout training camp. And anytime anything happens with him, even if it is minor and it turns out to be minor, in the moment, it doesn't feel like that because he's had so much stuff going on, whether it's physically on the field or mentally and tragically, sadly, off the field.
So, again, that's probably the one that there's a bit of an unknown to right now. And, I've always said this about cornerback injuries. Any little nick for a player at that position, I think it's heightened awareness for me more. Just because you're out on an island a little bit, you're out in open space, you get exposed a little bit more pretty quickly out there. I don't know. I think it's maybe a little bit easier to hide some stuff elsewhere on the field than it is out there. So certainly one to keep an eye on when they get back to work here coming up Saturday and Sunday. So preseason game tonight in New England. We'll continue to get you set for that. Saturday, Sunday, those are 4:00 start times at Grand Park. And then Wednesday and Thursday wraps up training camp from up there in Westfield. The Atlanta Falcons in town. Michael Penix, I think, still yet to do 11 on 11 as he is coming back from injury. Mark, are we getting duped by Bears fake reporters here? What is this just a generic press conference today? Are we expecting here we are, Hammond Bears, it's happening.
Explain what you mean by duped by generic Bears reporters.
I guess what is happening today? Was
I
this
don't know.
a scheduled press conference? Has it been announced?
From what I'm Ben Johnson and the Bears organization might speak. I don't know what this
supposed press conference in Northwest Indiana is about if it is actually real or not. There was a couple people that mentioned it. I wouldn't call them reliable Bears sources. So like I trust like a Courtney Cronin or Brad Biggs or something like that. I haven't seen really any of them establish that this was
Kevin
happening.
Warren is talking at 10 a.m. today at Hallis Hall.
Right. So I've seen some like secondary members of quote unquote Bears media, but I've not seen like the legit people that I follow and would trust from a source standpoint. I have not seen any of them discuss that there's a Hammond Bears press conference incoming today.
All I know is just figure it
I
out.
feel like we've had 37 Bears press conferences.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Warren has penned 37 letters to
I was
going
to say, Mark, you might be the key to this. Just go put a shovel in the ground in this state or the one right over and get it done with.
I'll be out there this weekend for my brother's bachelor party. I might say, you know what? We're getting something done, and we're getting something done right now. Give me a shovel. I'll start digging. You just tell me what zip code.
I was going to say, that'll be quite the bachelor party story. Mark Dykton arrested while, celebrating with brother and putting shovel in the ground.
I remember Joey Molinaro told the story of, I think it was either his bachelor party or a friend's bachelor party was the night that Andrew Luck retired.
Uh-huh.
There might have been a phone thrown against the wall by some of the bachelor party attendees.
There might have been some phones thrown in Lucas Oil Stadium because I was at that game as a fan.
That was the Bears, right? Colts Bears?
I was there with my dad because he was in town. I was like, hey, I got tickets. Do you want to go? He's like, sure. So we're, enjoying some company sweet lifestyle. And we were looking around. All of a sudden, the phones started getting lit up. And I had a friend text me. He's like, is this real? And it was an Adam Schefter screenshot. I'm like, did you get got? Like, what is that? And all of a sudden, it was like this. You saw the glow of the phones go around Lucas Oil and this hush come over the crowd. And it was just like, almost like all of a sudden everyone went from watching a football game to attending a funeral. It just got really somber really quick. And even exiting the stadium, it was just like this, well, now what do we do? Is this real? What happened? It was one of the more wild experiences I've ever had at any sporting event.
Very eerie, to say the least. All right, coming up on the other side, what happened at the joint practice Tuesday? James Boyd was there. We'll get his thoughts on Colts and Patriots there in that 2-hour-long session. What are we watching for tonight? A slew of starters will be sitting. We'll try to kind of pin that down a little bit more. Those are Shane Steichen's words from Tuesday. So we'll explain a little bit more on that front. Game day is here. It's the game day playlist from Mark Dykton. He'll continue to get you set for tonight's game one of the preseason. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, and Mark Dykton right here on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
It's the game day playlist from the one and only Mark Dykton. Preseason opener tonight, Colts Patriots from Foxborough. How much does the game matter? James Boyd is back. He shows up to
tells you all you need to know.
Shows up to practice. He's the reverse of Allen Iverson. Practice does matter, right?
Well, it only matters when you're trying to keep an eye on Daniel Jones. And I took a safe, educated guess that maybe number 17 isn't going to play tonight. And lo and behold, breaking news, he's not playing tonight. So they told me, you get your butt on that plane and save us some money.
What was the best thing you saw at joint practice? Was the Cam Bynum celebration after he picked up Drake May?
That was the funniest thing in the world. You know, I think Cam Bynum has some of the best perspective on how to be a competitor. Like, he's not a jerk by any means, but he enjoys riling up fan bases and having fun. And so when he picked out Drake May, which was a great play, by the way, he was talking about how they actually started off showing man and drop back into a zone. And it kind of confused Drake May, able to get the pick, sealed the last 2-minute drive. And then he gets the ball and he runs around the practice facility where the fans are pretty much on you. Like, the Patriots side got pretty loud because they're right there. And so the Colts social media team put out a video of him running around, and then he said he had to hit the light skin face with the people. So he takes off his mask and he starts looking like he's all handsome, licking his lips and all this stuff. It was just hilarious to see him be like that, trolling in that environment. But also there were like a number of Patriots fans, especially young ones, who were just like, this guy's kind of cool. So I don't think anybody was actually mad at him, but it was just funny to see him instigate. But yeah, he honestly, Kevin, we can get into it as we get closer to the season. Maybe we can play this audio tomorrow. But I did ask him about wearing the green dot and the responsibilities of that. And it does sound like it's trending towards him being that guy.
Yes.
I would be surprised if they make any changes at this point. And he kind of joked about how unique it is because he's a safety. So he's got to like get up, call the play, then get back deep into the field most of the time. But yeah, he is deserving of that green dot. And I think he's also smart enough to not have it overwhelm him on the back end.
Yeah, and this is how much Cam Bynum, I think, is like a fan favorite. Matty Bowen followed him on Instagram before he became a Colt.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Because he became like the dancing celebration guy.
Uh-huh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, him and who's the other? Josh Metellus, I think it was. The other guy that, they did there. What was the white girls dance they did?
Yeah.
In Minnesota, in the end zone. So, he is... Yeah, I think he's a great personality, and I think I think how you described that kind of fits it well. It sounded like the Colts finished practice really, really well. Maybe the Patriots were a little better during the middle-ish part of it, but, I mean, I say this in all seriousness. When you hear the phrase find a way to win, oftentimes it says, did you convert in the red zone?
Yeah.
Those are the 4-point plays, and I guess in Cam Bynum's case, he not only saved 4 points there, he might have saved 7 points.
Exactly. And so I think when that clip of like Sauce Gardner got out there where he got beat by A.J. Brown on that route on air, everyone, of course, in New England is freaking out and they're roaring about the best on best matchup and all this stuff. But I would say Sauce had a pretty solid practice. And when they played like actual football, especially in that last 2-minute drill, it was the Colts that got the last laugh with their starters. Not to say that the Patriots didn't have their moments. They did. I thought Drake May found a number of holes, especially in the middle of the defense. I kind of raised my eyebrows with like the linebacking group, and I'm like, I wonder if that could be something that other quarterbacks exploit if they just give them different looks across the middle of the field. But when it came to winning time, the Colts defense and offense showed up. That's a credit to them. I thought that Sauce Gardner had some pretty good moments that didn't go viral because as a cornerback, it's like if I guard somebody and the quarterback doesn't throw it to me, then I don't get the same amount of love. But I thought that Drake May really didn't test him too much in the team portions, and probably rightfully so, because Sauce, I thought, did a decent job with a couple of pass breakups and just coverage on A.J. Brown. So, again, they ended their first-team defense with that Cam Bynum pick in the end zone, and it was like a gotta-have a situation. And then offensively, they finished off practice with their first-team offense getting in the end zone. Josh Downs had the short touchdown catch, and I would say leading up to that, though, the only concerning part, which is kind of like a backhanded compliment, Tyler Warren was great on that drive. They completed 4 passes on that drive. 3 of them went to Tyler Warren. 2, if not all 3, went for first downs and got him into the red zone. And they finished it out with Josh Downs. But wide receiver-wise, when they got into like those 11-on-11 periods, Kevin, that's where I thought you could really tell, boy, they're not really getting open if it isn't Josh Downs or Tyler Warren.
I thought I read Joel Erickson say that of the 12 completions Daniel Jones had in team drills at Tuesday's practice, 11 went to Downs or Warren.
Yeah. I think he had 1 to Ashton Doolin,
Yeah.
but we were standing there like, dude, this does not look like an offense that can really sustain itself consistently.
And we saw that Saturday, Sunday.
That guy. Yes.
Now, Saturday, Sunday, no Downs at Grand Park.
Right.
But Saturday was the heavy tight end running back day. And then Sunday, I thought was the poorest day for the starting offense to move the football.
Yeah.
And so that's the question I think you get in the regular season. Because obviously, once you get the regular season, game plans. Well, I mean, defenses are clearly going to game plan for, Tyler Warren. And I get it. Shane Steichen is a brilliant play caller, and he's thought of very highly. And I do think he can scheme a lot of stuff up for you, but just a dangerous game, I think, to play right now, given the state of your personnel. Mark, this might be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Chad in the YouTube chat.
Oh, I'm following that along.
So you've
too.
got your brother's bachelor party this weekend?
Saturday, yeah.
This from Chad. Final stats after my brother's bachelor party, Mark.
Oh, boy.
1 with broken ribs.
Oh, boy.
2 turned sober. 1 got divorced.
Oh, boy.
1 fired.
I think 1 fire, not fired.
Oh, fire.
Oh, that's probably worse.
Yeah, well, yeah, that probably is worse. 3 pukers.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't even think the pukers should be categorized
Right.
with everybody else, to be honest with you. And then 2 lost and was disowned by most of the women in the family.
Whoa.
Mark,
Is
hey,
that-
the bar is set low, man. We just got to be slightly above that. That's the James Boyd golf swing of bachelor parties.
I said,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
want
rough.
any of those stats come Saturday. I don't want a single
It
one
sounds
of those.
dangerous, those stats.
He also said the details are even worse, and my brother ended up divorced too, so there's that. I'm like, what the hell happened there? I said, I want details, but I also
Jeez.
don't.
Honestly,
How does the brother feel about this? The brother's like, man, I didn't expect my life to be put out here on the radio.
the ones that just puke, they should put medals on them. I mean, they
Yeah,
deserve like
that
gold,
doesn't- yeah.
silver, bronze.
That to me feels like an outlier. Like that shouldn't be a part of the group.
Well, who's to say the pukers weren't included in some of those other categories, though?
Oh, you're saying there's a little double dipping.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Could have been hitting for the cycle.
Oh boy.
Oh, that is great. Not really, but boy, that did make me laugh. Probably because I'm not a part of it, and I need to look in the mirror.
Let's hope nothing like that is happening. My biggest concern right now is the weather up there because they're getting hammered, and I'm like, we have a tea time on Saturday morning. Let's make sure that happens.
Yeah, right now you're gonna need Noah's Ark to get around the golf course. Slew of starters won't play. When I hear that for tonight, James, I'm curious about this. Obviously, no Daniel Jones. I don't expect Jonathan Taylor. I don't expect Josh Downs. I don't expect Tyler Warren. We can go on and on. I am curious about a couple position groups, though. Do you play the wide receivers, i.e., Doolin, Treadwell, Nick Westbrook-Akine? Some of those guys might start week 1. But, like, I don't, again, Sharpie, pen, pencil. I'm not writing them in Sharpie.
No.
Sharpie guys, I don't play tonight. Pen and pencil guys, I think you can play.
Also, real quick, how much do you think it helps evaluate Anthony and Riley to have a few of those guys out there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think a key tonight is, like, can your second and third units protect?
Well,
and
we always talk about that, yes.
And I feel that in every preseason game. And obviously, Anthony had some own self-induced protection issues last year, misidentifying a front in Baltimore, and he suffers the pinky injury and has to leave the game. And it was just another layer in, Richardson. But yeah, I wide out. Yes, James, again, I don't expect these guys to play into the second half with Riley Leonard, but are they out there for the first half? And then I go to the other side of the ball. Like, what about linebacker? And then what about a guy like AJ Halsey? What about Hunter Wooler? Like those guys, linebacker especially, and in safety, where competitions are open. I would like to see some of those guys play. Again, I get that Latu's not going to play. Cam Bynum does not need to be. I understand that, and it sounds like New England is going to sit Drake May and most of their guys.
Yeah.
So I get that, but when I hear a slew of starters, I'm like, okay, well, there's 22 of them. Does he literally mean all 22, or does he mean like 15 of them? And we still see some, because there have been a few moments in the Steichen era. I'm trying to think, like, sometimes when they've had like O-line, like young guys in the O-line, I want to say last year, like he played Matt Gonzalez and Tanner Bortolini a little bit in the preseason. So to me, I look at wideout and I look at linebacker and I guess sprinkle in safety next to Bynum and think those guys should Justin Wally play? He's never played in an NFL game. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes, and honestly, if that's a real question, I would say yes.
He should play.
Yeah, I think he should play.
Yeah.
Get some reps in. Like, you're not Daniel Jones, who's played in, 80, 90 games in the NFL at this point. Like, we know what to expect from him. He knows what to expect from NFL caliber defense. But for Justin Wally, just get out there and perhaps get some nerves out of the way, some rust from not having played real football in quite a long time since his college career. So, yeah, I'd put him out there.
Now, again, I'll say what I said to lead off the show. If I'm Anthony Richardson walking in tonight, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get the first crack at starting a preseason game and getting the first half. He has an opportunity to send a message, and I think right now he would be viewed as someone that is behind Riley Leonard in this competition. So if that's the case, if that's my status, I want to make the first impression. Might not go well, but still, I want to have that opportunity, because in-game opportunities have been, frankly, lacking for him. And some of that, of course, is health issues, but I'm behind. I want to make a statement. I want to all of a sudden, make Riley sit there in the halftime locker room and think, oh, man, Anthony just led 2 touchdown drives, and one of them was a 2-minute drive to end it. Like, am I a little nervous about things? That would be my outlook, and I think should be Anthony Richardson's outlook for tonight. We know it's going to flip next week when Atlanta comes to town for week 2 of the preseason, but I get it's been rocky. I get it's been a roller coaster for Anthony Richardson, but that's how I would be viewing tonight. I am very fortunate that I get the first crack at it.
Yeah.
Can I put pressure on Riley Leonard? Because right now I think there's more pressure on Richardson.
There should be more pressure on him too. He's a number 4 pick from a few years ago.
Even isolate that. Just in this competition, I view Leonard ahead of Richardson. Like, even if you said they both were 6-round picks, I'm saying just for this backup court, Anthony Richardson has to do more to go win the backup job than Riley Leonard.
I agree with that.
My opinion for the rest of the month. So, yes, there is the inevitable elephant in the room, you're a bust, blah, 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 all of that. But even if you just want to say mano a mano, you versus Leonard, he's got to go win it. Because right now, Leonard, I think, has the leg up.
Yeah, I would agree there, Kevin. But I just think for the masses, like the casual viewer, everyone's going to be like, if I watch this game, I want to see what that number 4 pick did or didn't do over the course of his career to end up in this position on a Thursday night where we're talking about this such a big stakes game for someone who was the highest drafted player since Andrew Luck for this franchise. So that's the only point I was really making there. But also, when it comes to Anthony and Riley, I just wonder with Anthony, will he find a better rhythm knowing that he's going to get a certain amount of reps? Like, I think he struggles a lot more when he doesn't get the reps. And that's not saying he deserves more of them throughout practice. Daniel should absolutely take every first-team rep, and, they should split the reps, I think, pretty evenly so far. They should continue to do that because he hasn't earned the right to get more of them. But with Anthony, I think he's a rhythm player, so perhaps he can get a better rhythm if he's just not looking over his shoulder saying, like, I got 2 passes here, and that's it for the next 15 minutes. Like, can I just play and see where it goes from there? But this is, like you said, this is the point last year where nail in the coffin probably went into it when he missed that blitz pickup, got his pinky dislocated, and it really was a double whammy of, A, you can't read defenses like you were supposed to. That was a knock on you going into that game. And then B, you got injured, which is another knock on you going into that game. So, I mean, more than anything, Kevin, can he just stay healthy and show us something?
And just find simple better. I've always felt like with Richardson at quarterback, he just doesn't find the easy answers. They don't have to be overly flashy. I mean, we just talked about a Daniel Jones practice when he was 7'11", and they were running backs and tight ends primarily the whole time. Just find some easy method. We know he has some flash. We know he has some highlight ability. Can you find simple better? Jack Doyle going to join us here in 15. 9 o'clock hour. I think what we'll do there is maybe rapid fire each position group. One thing we're keeping an eye on for tonight, and obviously a lot of those topics will be non-quarterback related. This here from Rod, that bachelor party sounds like a script for Hangover 4. Hell, you could make probably 3 Hangover movies off of that bachelor party script.
Someone called and said, you better make some memories. Don't worry about the repercussions. That sounds like a guy who's been divorced.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Sounds like one that's had like 3 or 4 bachelor parties of his own.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, I would like for you to be able to come home to a loving family.
I mean, do the locks still work on the house? That's all I'm concerned about.
I'm hoping, obviously we're desperate for any listeners. I'm hoping that Ashley Dykton maybe took the morning off, Mark.
Yeah, they're probably getting kids ready for school right now, actually. She's
hopefully dialing us up.
Oh, boy, this from Blaine on the text line. How about we just trade AR for J.J. McCarthy? You want me to fall out of my chair this morning?
You want some 9 here?
I mean, not to be funny, but like, if there's another player who is viewed in the same light, if not worse than AR right now as a top pick, it's J.J. McCarthy.
Well, and not to get into like deep semantics about this, but J.J. McCarthy right now is worth a good amount more than Anthony Richardson. I mean, he is the Vikings backup, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson's not even the Colts backup.
That's fair.
And we're just, 1 year removed from, top 10 pick? Like, I don't think it's exactly apples to apples. Did want to mention this if you guys missed it yesterday. And, like, to me, I think the NBA as a league is a little bit more you just see star movement a little bit more in that league than you do other professional sports leagues. And I think it's really important, and not to like turn this into a Paul George conversation, but I think it's really important that teams try to cater to their star as much as possible. And I get there's a fine line in that, but that's the reality of how the NBA works. And yesterday we saw an announcement from the Pacers, and this is like catering to your star. It's not doing it in an egregious way. It's not doing it bending over backwards. You're not naming the building after him. But in saying to Tyrese Halliburton, hey, man, let's go back to Ames, Iowa to play a preseason game. Hilton Coliseum clearly means a lot to him. The man got engaged there. And his first game back in a Pacers uniform, albeit a preseason game, is going to be October 7th at Iowa State. Pacers Timberwolves, and you hear Tyrese Halliburton talk about it yesterday, and he's smiling ear to ear. Good on the Pacers. It might seem like a small thing to some people, but like some of that stuff adds up, and some of that stuff matters. I think the Pacers have done a really nice job and have been really cognizant about realizing, hey, we are a small market team. When we get these sorts of players, we need to make sure that we do the right things to make them feel welcome, make them feel comfortable. And Tyrese, to be fair to him, which is a great sign, I think he has so much just rooted elements of that in his own body. Like he's not chasing some of that stuff, but he also, likes a little bit of the stardom too. And I think this is a great move by the Pacers. I like it.
It's a layup. Why not do it? We saw the Fever do this in the preseason with Caitlin Clark in Iowa. Was it earlier this year? If not this year, it was last year, where she went out there and had a chance to be in front of that crowd, which obviously she had way more college success than anybody probably in the sport for women's basketball when it comes to just accolades and numbers. I know people will get on her for the national championship and not winning that, but relax. The point is you appease your stars when you can, and this is an easy thing for the Pacers to do. And I'm excited for it. I can't tell you the last time that I really sat down and watched a Pacers preseason game, but that one will be appointment television.
I'm still laughing. I saw they announced the schedule yesterday for the NBA Cup. And again, the Pacers have a loaded group. They will play. I'm looking at the schedule right here, James. On 4 out of 5 Fridays, this will be their schedule. These are Friday night games. At Miami, Giannis. Week off from the NBA Cup. Then the next Friday, home to the Knicks the next Friday. At Cleveland the next Friday. Home to LeBron and the Sixers. So it is a loaded Friday-centric schedule early in the season for the Pacers, mix of home and road. But I had to remind myself yesterday, Hinkle Fieldhouse is hosting the NBA Cup Championship. I'm like picturing the Spurs popping champagne bottles at like half liter on the Monon. You ever been to half liter, Mark, with the girls?
Yes, we have.
Great spot for
Very
a little
good.
outdoor activity. Great spot. Eddie Som's done unbelievable work there. I mean, just can you imagine like Victor Wembanyama and company celebrating there?
Boy, he's not hiding, is he?
Dinner over at Mama Carol's. I'm picturing Victor Wembanyama making it up the steps over there. I'm like, oh boy, that's probably not going to go too well here.
No.
But like, where's the after party at Hinkle? Are they asking the Butler students, where are we heading? Are we heading to Broad Ripple?
Hey, it's not a bad option, you know.
Is that the Rock Lobster siren that I hear in the background?
Like, well, you know, Fountain Square isn't too far away either, so, you know, a little dugout action, something like that. Could you imagine Victor Wembanyama trying to walk into the dugout?
Oh my gosh, I love it. Friday, December 11th, to remind everybody.
So how long is this schedule release? What the heck is going on? Is this like a thing now? We got to wait a week to get the full schedule?
Mark, I thought you hit the nail on the head earlier. When we brought this up, Mark, what did you say? You don't care about the announcement of the 82 game schedule. You care more about what?
Where am I watching these games at? Pacers.
Oh,
please get on it.
Fair.
I thought I saw, Mark, double check me on this. We can maybe share it morning check down or after we talk to Jack Doyle. I thought I saw the Magic just announced as well. They are one of these teams that are going to go with a linear local TV channel.
Please follow suit, Pacers.
So again, I think we're seeing a few more of these teams do this, which is different than the DAZN, DAZN acronym we talked about a few weeks back. So we do await that, and we await official NBA schedule. Let's get to a morning check down before Jack Doyle joins.
The Morning Checkdown, brought to you by Suave Men Refreshing Face and Body Wash on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, kickoff 7:30 tonight. Our radio coverage begins in earnest 4:30. JMV will help you lead in the kickoff. Little Rick Venturi action. Network coverage begins at 6:30. So again, this is preseason opener. Anthony Richardson scheduled to start. Riley Leonard then will take over after halftime. They'll flip this for next Saturday against the Falcons. For those that are wanting to watch on TV tonight, that is Fox 59. Greg Rakestraw, Rick Venturi, and Lara Overton. And the Colts will be back to the Droplight Westfield, or Droplight Grand Park campus, I should say, coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Those are 4 o'clock start times for those two practices. Fever and Wings coming up tomorrow night. James Boyd, Paige Becker's back inside of Gamebridge Fieldhouse. 6.5-point favorite, the Fever are over Dallas. I thought the Fever played pretty well the other night. Again, Kelsey Mitchell continues to score at a super high level. We saw KK Timpson once again in the starting lineup. Caitlin Clark had a nice performance as well, much better than the Aces game. If you want to go back to that, when she had some obviously late game gaffes in that one. So 106-92 the win for the Fever, which is important for the standings the other night.
Yes, and you're looking at another big game coming up tomorrow night. The Wings are in 7th place right now. The Fever are in 4th place, but there's only a few games that really separate you from the 3 seed, as I'm looking right now, and like the 8th seed and being out of the playoffs altogether. So these games really, really matter. And of course, I think that the Fever have a chance to continue to climb and establish themselves and put themselves in good position for the playoffs. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but they played well, and I give them a lot of credit for it. They have the greatest offense of all time. And again, if you play a modicum of defense, you have a chance to be pretty special.
Mark Dyke did not 1, not 2, but 3 for Mr. Bregman.
That's right. Looking very good, and they can go for the 4-game sweep against the Nationals today. The Brewers lost, got swept by the Padres. So all of a sudden that NL Central lead down to 3.
Don't look now, but here come the
Cubbies.
No. Finish that audio, please.
What?
Oh, boy.
Those, I believe it was Red Lakes.
Don't look now, but here come the
Cubbies. That's what you said. Those are your words.
No, I sound like Dominic Miranda. I don't sound like you. I don't want to be
I couldn't tell the
affiliated with you.
difference.
Don't want to be affiliated with you
say.
when you go in the backyard. I don't want to be affiliated with you, Mark. Certainly not your baseball fandom.
Mark.
I appreciate you cutting that audio for me in the break. I really appreciate that.
Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton also throwing the first pitch. Cubs Brewers coming up September 3rd. He shared that news yesterday. Speaking of a little baseball, speaking of a little IndyCar, Marcus Ericsson threw out the first pitch last night at the Nationals game. They'll be in D.C. next week for the Freedom 250 there around the nation's capital. This weekend, they'll be up in Canada. Christian Lundgaard throwing out the first pitch there at the Blue Jays game last night. Tonight, Fernando Mendoza makes his NFL debut. Raiders Cardinals. That'll be ESPN. That's 8 o'clock, so half hour after the Colts start. And retirement for one of the more.
Fernando.
Do that again.
What the Fernando?
Was Mendoza doing an impression of Kurt Signetti?
Caught me off.
Fernando.
You caught me off guard with that. I didn't know that Mr. Mendoza had that in him.
He did.
Retirement for Russell Westbrook. James, one of the more unique players, I would say, in NBA history, frankly.
Yeah, I remember asking Russell Westbrook a question after a Pacers-Lakers game, and I did not get much of a response.
He always looks mad.
Yeah, he was truly one of one, but an all-time great player, one of the greatest point guards to ever live. I know that he had his flaws when it comes to the game of basketball and didn't win a championship, but you're going to find very few resumes that look like that. And for a guy who averaged 30, 10, and 10, we never thought we'd see a guy average a triple-double again. He did 30, 10, and 10 the year after Kevin Durant left. For that season alone, I will always love him.
Again, he retires yesterday, the all-time leader in triple-doubles. All right, coming up on the other side, Jack Doyle, who was actually in Canton, Ohio, this past weekend amongst many of
Getting his bus ready.
Teammates. Well, to some, certainly. And Adam Vinatieri, Hall of Fame action there enshrined into it. So we'll chat with Jack about that. And again, get you set for the preseason opener coming up tonight, Colts and Patriots. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, at 9:30. We're back together. Kevin Bowe and James Boyd, Mark Dykton here, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Today's forecast from the Fox 59 Weather Authority.
After a foggy start, it will be warm and humid with mostly cloudy skies. More scattered showers and thunderstorms develop this afternoon and evening. A couple of strong to severe storms are possible. Highs will rise into the mid-80s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
get down. I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around. Jump around. Jump around. Jump around. Jump up and get down.
With Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Now, fourth quarter at Camp Randall. To some, granted, the Wisconsin football program has certainly fallen off a bit, but I probably shouldn't say that until Notre Dame plays them here in a few weeks. Mark Dykton's game day playlist. It is Colts Patriots tonight, 7:30 preseason opener. And to talk more about that, a man that was also up in Canton, Ohio this past weekend for the enshrinement for one, Adam Vinatieri, the great Jack Doyle, joins us here on the hotline. Jack, good morning, sir. Hope all is well.
Yes, good to hear from you guys.
How was Canton? I thought Vinatieri's speech was great. I thought the half roast and then super sentimental around that was excellent. Was Canton, Ohio, and seeing some of your former teammates a good time?
Yeah, it was a great time, man. It just felt like you flash back to, you see certain guys and you flash back to the year you were with them or the years you were with them. So it was a really great time. And yeah, I agree. I think Vinny's speech was a great representation of just who he was as a teammate, right? He was a guy who liked to joke around, get after guys in the locker room, but when it was time to lock in and perform, there was no one better. Obviously, the clutchest kicker ever, and Adam Vinatieri. So yeah, it was a great weekend.
Now, you sent me down a rabbit hole last week. Okay, I brought up on the show, I think Vinatieri's best kick is the game tying extra point. You guys, Colts, Bills, December 2017. It might still be snowing, actually, in Buffalo from that game. It was one of the more wilder atmosphere, frankly, probably the most wild atmosphere that I've ever seen. And I totally forgot that you had the touchdown and you had the 2-point conversion before one of the more shady flags I've ever seen was thrown.
Yes, we ran the same play. So we ran a little RPO, little pick play, caught in the flat. Kamar Aiken with a great pick, for the touchdown and got me open. Jacoby threw it. And then we just flipped the play for the 2-point conversion and ran it to the other way. So literally did the exact same thing. And that time it got called, and you couldn't even see on the film, right? And you can't even tell where the yard line was. And, was he a yard, further than a yard downfield? Really tough call. But yeah, it led to, Vinny kicking I think it was like a 44-yard extra point. And it just it looks like one of my drives, golfing, off the driver. He put it out really far left and then just kind of dived in that bottom left corner. Definitely something I'll never forget.
Were you on the field scraping snow off there, trying to make that as easy as possible? I say easy. It wasn't easy at all.
No, yes. I remember, I texted you last week when I was listening to you guys because I remember it was a timeout. Maybe we call timeout. I don't know why there was a little delay in the action. But the trainers were out there, giving us water. And I can have a distinct memory of the great trainer, Kyle Davis, on his hands and knees, cleaning off the snow as we're all trying to kick it off. And the ref coming over and be like, "You can't do that. I'm going to throw a flag." And, getting after him and Kyle freaking out and running off the field. But, every little bit helps. And I'm sure that's what Vinny would say.
Game ball to Kyle Davis.
All right,
right
look,
there,
man, the man's trying to get things done. They're all a team. They're all
the more you can do.
Exactly. Again, that's the voice of Jack Doyle, kind enough to join us this morning. Jack, speaking of Colts Patriots, we did have a joint practice earlier this week, and I think the only person who's probably loved by both franchises is Adam Vinatieri. But aside from that, I thought one guy who stood out in that practice was Tyler Warren. He just continues to find ways to get open. As a former tight end yourself, what excites you about year 2 of what Tyler can do in this offense? He did say that this year, at least going into it, he doesn't have to learn as much. It's more so just expanding on what he's already learned.
Yeah, I think that's what excites me, right? He can continue to use his instincts. We saw a bunch of that in his rookie year. Just finding holes in zones and finding different ways to get open versus man and just continue to grow his instincts and seeing what defenses are doing to him instead of thinking about what he was doing. I think he's a really smart guy, so it was probably, came pretty quickly to him, and we all kind of saw that. But also I'm excited about him just getting an NFL offseason, right? Coming off that rookie year, that is, and he played, Penn State was in the college football playoff with him, I believe, right? And he had such a long college season. and then all kinds of, getting ready for the combine, getting ready for his pro day, getting ready for the draft, and then you're here to Indy. He just didn't have much downtime, and that wears on you going into an NFL season. I don't think he'd ever admit that, but it definitely does. So yeah, I'm excited for him to kind of get a break, and a mental reset, and excited for what he can do this year.
He's Jack Doyle to us and to pretty much all of you. He's Mr. Doyle to some 5th through 8th graders at St. Pius a couple days a week, as I can't think of a better person to be teaching PE than the man you're listening to right here on the hotline. We always enjoy our chats with him. Jack, your career obviously had a couple of different chapters to it. Obviously, a preseason opener to 2014 you would have meant a whole lot. Every preseason game, frankly, meant a whole lot. I'm curious this. Once you got entrenched in the league, once you became a full-time starter, once you reached upper 20s, near in 30, did you feel like you needed a preseason game before things got real in September?
Yeah, I think I did. It could have just been a series, right? And the joint practices started to become way more popular the second half of my career. And those felt, pretty close. It was good to get, work in a controlled environment. But I always still kind of just wanted a little bit of, go out there, get a hit, feel that adrenaline rush before a game, and, kind of just remind yourself you can still do it, right? And before going into week one. So I know every guy's different, but that's kind of how I felt about it.
Jack, when it comes to the joint practices, do you think you got more out of that or the games?
Yeah, definitely the joint practices. Joint practices are great. You get that little, anxiety pit in your stomach like you do for a game, and you got to kind of, you work through that and you get some great work in. I think the joint practices are great. They're hard work. It's great for obviously the quarterback and definitely the Colts with Daniel's situation coming off the injury. And again, like I said, getting work in a controlled environment it is very beneficial.
Frank Gore had 36 carries in that game, Jack.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been Marlon Mack. I remember Marlon had busted a big run. I can think back. We ran a Bob concept, a little weak ISO concept. And I remember Marlon busted one. He probably had like 4 carries. But, yeah, we didn't throw the ball until the very last drive to go try and tie it. I can think of T.Y. Hilton catching a slant route on 4th and 2. Maybe we threw one early. I feel like we threw one deep to like Ross Travis that didn't work. Or maybe Ross caught it. I don't remember. But, yeah, it was give the ball to Frank and let Frank go to work, which was always fun to be a part of.
That it is a probably dumb question, but that's got to be the craziest weather game that you've ever played in, right?
Yeah. The craziest part, one of the craziest parts is it was 2 feet of snow, at the stadium, and then we drove to the airport, and there was like barely any snow, and the lake effect. I don't understand it, but I guess that's what everyone was saying. But I can remember like we talked about that 2-point conversion, and I kind of ran like a flat route, and then Jacoby couldn't throw it yet, and then I wheeled up and caught it in the back of the end zone. I can just remember stepping in snow that hadn't been stepped in, and it coming up to like my knees. It's like it was crazy, man. Ton of fun. It was definitely a game we talked about a lot this weekend in Canton.
46 carries total you guys had that day. 51 for the Bills. Shady McCoy had 32 for 156.
The way he was running in overtime, I was like, oh my goodness, like why is he moving so fast compared to everybody else? It was incredible.
Yeah, that was a truly slow motion watch to that game, and he had the big one there in overtime. Again, Colts Patriots getting started here coming up tonight. I guess one more on Canton, Ohio. Was there a teammate you haven't seen in a while? It looked like a great crowd and a whole variety of teammates based off who I saw kind of in some pictures and videos. But I don't know, favorite memory, favorite teammate you saw that you hadn't seen in a while?
What I thought Vinny did a great job of is, he invited a bunch of the teamers guys, right? Special teams guys who made a career or played a lot on special teams for him. So it's great to see, guys I haven't, done a great job staying in contact with. Matthias Farley is one of my favorite. It was a lot of fun to see him. Clayton Gathers was another one. Guys that, you spent every day with, and especially those two guys, they were safeties who I win against every day in practice. And, so it's fun to catch up with them. Andy Studebaker, another special teams guy that was kind of around. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Drove over there from Toledo with Jack Muhort and Andrew. So yeah, we had a great time.
Super cool. I love that. And I think it goes to show you Adam Vinatieri caring about more than just the front line.
Actually, I do have one more for you, Jack, because I thought this was kind of curious. Adam won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, but he asked Carly Ursay-Gordon to induct him into the Hall of Fame. He won one, of course, with the Colts. What do you think that says about the relationship that the Ursays have built with their players? Because he isn't the only one to have an Ursay be the presenter. Of course, previously it had been her father, Jim.
Yeah, I think it says everything, right? I mean, the past X number of guys have all used either Mr. Ursay and then now Adam using Carly. It just shows, that they care about the person, right? And I think Adam had 2 Hall of Fame careers, right? One in New England and then one here in Indy. It's just amazing the career he had. I think part of it is, he raising his family here and all that. He as he said in his speech, he grew up in Indy. So yeah, it was. It says a lot about the family and how they care about the person.
That's Jack Doyle right here with us on this Thursday morning. Jack, good luck to you with the school year starting back up. Hope the boys have had a smooth start, and hopefully we can have you on a few more times here throughout the year.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys.
That's a great Jack Doyle right there on the hotline. I love that. I love Adam Vinatieri showing a little love to some others. You think about Andy Studebaker, you think about Matthias Farley, you think about Clayton Gathers. I saw I think Luke Rhodes and Rigoberto Sanchez made it up there. I don't know if Ashton Doolin, made it up there, but he would be one. Those guys are just really kind of earned their role in the NFL via fourth down. And it's not even like Vinatieri is a punter. It'd be one thing if you're Rigo and you're like, well, Doolin's the one that's down so many punts for me or has made huge tackles. I like that Vinatieri shows some love to some of the others there. We'll continue to get you set for tonight. Colts and Patriots, position by position. We'll go through it. One thing we're watching for at each spot, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, and more than anything, we've got the Mark Dykton Game Day playlist. Those are your re-entries here on this Thursday morning. We're back on the other side.
Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Stadium DJs around pro sports foaming at the mouth on what Mark Dykton has compiled here on this Thursday morning. It's our game day playlist. Hell, Mark, you might just throw this into a bachelor party power hour.
You know it. Making the turn on the golf course. Guys, I got something to get the juices flowing. Let's play some game day playlist.
Look at that. It is.
Let's play some Kesha Timber in here.
We Are Who We Are.
That's your favorite.
Gosh, I love it.
The man got so excited thinking about that song.
Moved,
I think Kesha's coming to Ruoff here in a few weeks.
Well, I know who's going to be front and center for that.
So you're
one.
asking the missus to let you free?
I'm not saying we're at midnight right now, but we certainly aren't at 6 o'clock right now.
That's not a date for Kevin and May. That's a night for Kevin just to go out. Matt, you got the kids? I'm going to go see Kesha.
Not a guy's night, just a guy night, right? Just, singular, to be very clear on that front. Tonight, 7:30, Colts and Patriots. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, going to join us here coming up at 9:30. I do want to go over 9 o'clock hour. Maybe we'll have Mark kind of throw each position group at us, but just one thing we're keeping an eye out for coming up tonight. I'm going to throw one name, James, your way, and one name to Matt Taylor here. Boy, I feel like fans are going to fall in love with Anderson Castle and his running style. Number 42 in your program, kind of an old school throwback looker. You have Ulysses Bentley IV, who's kind of a darling last year, who's at, I think, a pretty nice camp as well.
Yes.
He might be knocking on the door for a roster spot. He's maybe your lightning, well, your thunder's Anderson Castle. And Mark, you know what I'm thinking of? We got the great Bentley audio last year from Matt Taylor and Charles Arbuckle. There's got to be something Castle related, right?
King of the Castle, something like that, yeah.
Maybe we'll put Matt Taylor up to that. You got a random name on the roster, James, that you could see fans all of a sudden being like, this guy deserves a roster spot.
I haven't given it much thought, but I will say, who's the guy out of Duke, the wide receiver? I'm blanking on his name right now.
Samir Hagans?
Yeah. I think that he's
Number
somebody
11?
I think that people can appreciate what he brings to special teams. He's kind of a speedster and might even flash a little bit as a receiver.
Shout out to a couple local guys, too, for our audience. And, James, feel free to add anybody on the list. Caden Curry, of course, number 55. If you're watching tonight, Caden Curry. We'll see if, Arden Key, Jalen Tuimoloau, where do they kind of fall into the do you play them, do you not play them category? I would assume Curry would get in decently early in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be a starter. Again, a lot of this has to do with what they'll play ahead of them. And Eli Pankol's back and healthy, right? Number 83?
Yes.
He's the wideout out of Pendleton, another Duke guy that James brings up. But Pankol was actually getting some first-team run the first few days of camp, suffered an injury, missed about a week, and now he is back. So I think those are the local guys. Am I missing anybody else?
No, not to my knowledge.
Are both kickers kicking tonight? Do we know?
I forgot to ask, but I would assume so.
And they both kicked Tuesday?
Yes. They both went 3 for 4. We had a lot of crosswind there in New England, so a couple of those kicks were hooking a little bit towards.
Boy, you sound like a golfer. Say that again.
Crosswind?
Look at that.
Don't ask me which way it was coming from, but I don't know. But
James is going to start throwing the blades of grass in the air to see where the wind's going.
My favorite was Fluff Cowan, Tiger's old caddy. He'd just take the cigarette out and just give it a puff.
Yeah.
And then he could see where the wind was blowing.
No cigarettes used in my reporting of the wind. But, yeah, so right now I think it's 30 of 34 in camp for Blake Grupe and 23 of 34 for Mr. Schrader. So we talk about guys who can boost their stock a lot. I think Schrader could really benefit from showing up and having the opportunity to kick in this game tonight. And the unfortunate part about this is you don't really get to set the scenario. You don't get a chance to try the 55-yarder for the win or whatever, but perhaps some opportunities can still present themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Shane Steichen, I go the anti-Shane Steichen. I kick every fourth down just to get these guys reps. I know that's against him and everything he wants. Also, I'm curious a little bit, and we'll see what the weather is tonight, but this is the one outdoor preseason game. You'll be indoors the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So, do you want both of them to kick here when they get those opportunities? So, again, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor at 9:30. And on the other side, we'll go through each position and what is something we'll be keeping an eye out for tonight. 9 o'clock hour, getting you set for game day, and we thank the ones and twos. I believe he'll be DJing at the Red Garter here during happy hour coming up later today.
Half price wings for next 2 hours. Come on down.
Getting you set for the bachelor party. You see Luke on the text line said he's off to Gatlinburg for a bachelor party?
Oh, I've just been there like a month ago.
Was that the place where you were saying you could stay somewhere on somebody's porch for like?
Oh, no, that was Kentucky.
Okay, I'm getting confused.
Well, I did go to Gatlinburg earlier this spring, so you had me confused there for a second. I thought it was a great time, to be honest with you. I'm curious, if you listened to the show today and heard those bachelor party stats from earlier, would you be feeling optimistic about heading to a bachelor party? Would that be an uplifting?
No, I would be terrified.
That one seems like an outlier from what I heard. That sounded like an insane thing.
An outlier? Well, I would hope, Mark. If it's the norm, we wouldn't have civilization.
We'd all be divorced.
The male race would be down to like 3 people.
That sounded like an absolutely absurd situation.
Yeah, Chad, we got to start questioning your family and friend group.
We'll vet Chad a little bit, provide those stats for you one more time. This is the Fan Morning Show here. 9 o'clock hour upcoming. Andy Moore Group Campus in Avon. It is truly a campus with 4 different brands. That's what I love about right off of Rockville Road, the Andy Moore Group Campus. You have Nissan, Toyota, Kia, Volkswagen. 4 different brands, all there, one-stop shop. Whatever, 2-minute walk from the first brand all the way to the last brand. You can compare, obviously, inventory that's on site, new, used, maybe hybrid models float your boat. If you do make a purchase, there's service available at all 4 of those brands to you right there on site. And it's what I love about car shopping. I know it can be stressful. Sometimes it's maybe not the most enjoyable thing to do, but that's what I really like about the Andy Moore Group Campus. One-stop shop. You don't need to drive around town. 4 different brands you can compare, contrast out there off of Rockville Road in Avon. Kia, Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan. Tell them Kevin Bowen sent you. Andy Moore Group Campus in Avon. Well, if my eyeballs are truthful, I believe I saw one John Michael Vincent up at We Grow Hair Indy yesterday. Great people up there. Darren Andrews in one of those pictures. He is your clinic director, and he's ready to answer the questions you have. And I try to really emphasize that to anybody that reach out. Yes, let me provide, obviously, my experience and be as candid as possible. But make sure you contact Darren and that staff. Free evaluation, virtual evaluation, private evaluation. All of it is available to you. And most importantly, you're going to get answers to those questions that you have had throughout the years. Again, that is Andy Moore Group Campus. It is an Andy Moore Group Campus. Well, yes, that is obviously a great spot. This is We Grow Hair Indy up on the northwest side. Building number 2 at the Pyramids or online, WeGrowHairIndy.com. The gold standard for hair restoration. They call the 317 home. We're lucky to have them here. Make sure you contact them today. Free evaluation awaits at We Grow Hair Indy.
Indy's The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
I don't think this belongs on the game day playlist.
Oh, it 100% does.
This belongs on the
TV
game day.
timeouts? Are you kidding?
This is like once one of your teams are eliminated from the playoffs. This is what you play at the tailgate.
What? No.
Wait.
No, this
Why
isn't.
so specific of a description? Can
No,
you expand on
They
that a
do
little
like
bit?
if they're doing like a coach's challenge and all. Oh, come on.
That just kind of sums up that's the Colts playlist on December 20th.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
No. I've been to plenty of games where it's a TV timeout or they're doing a coach's challenge. That's what they do.
No. Come on, Mark. You were on a great path and you hit us with that.
I 100%
Dang,
disagree.
Harsh grader.
Disagree.
No way.
Just because it's not Kesha.
Well, I don't. We could get some Till I Collapse, Marshall Mathers.
Okay. That's fine. I hear Sweet Escape.
We're trying to win. I mean, we're talking about professional football league here. Mark's over here playing, Uno with that playlist.
I'm Uno reversing
I was
you.
gonna
I'm
say, well,
throwing
give me
that
some
card out.
DMX then. That always gets me riled
yeah.
up.
Oh, here we go. Might be banging my head against the microphone.
Easy now.
Colts and Patriots tonight, 7:30. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, going to join us here. Coming up
Quick question.
at 9:30. Yes.
Would a joint practice between the Patriots and Colts happen back in the day? Because this seems like, we've ended the Cold War.
Well, you know what I
Like,
forgot?
what the heck?
Tear that wall down.
I totally forgot about it till either you mentioned it in one of your pieces. I read, so many different practice reports from out there. I forget who wrote it. Josh McDaniels is their OC.
Yes.
I kind of forgotten about that. Like, did Chris Ballard go shake his hand? Was Carly there?
She was there.
Is Carly going over there?
Yeah.
And, that's like, that is still a pretty awkward element to it all, right? That was literally one of our summer what ifs there. But yeah, I by all accounts, Mike Vrabel and Shane Steichen are close-ish.
So that's enough.
And to be clear, close-ish, I think, as coaches, not off the field morals. What?
Nothing.
You're shaking your head in there. I thought
I
it
do
was,
that routinely
Not
in
off
the
the
show.
field of morals is a funny way to phrase
thought it was
that.
important clarification.
Great clarification.
That was needed in there.
Definitely needed.
But yeah, obviously your preseason schedule probably falls into some of it. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Kevin Stefanski, is that next week, right? Colts Falcons?
Yes. And that'll be up at Grand Park.
2 days, Wednesday and Thursday next week, as we conclude things there from West Hill. All right, Mark, let's go position by position. Feel free to throw whatever you want at us. And James Boyd, let's just go one item that you're curious about tonight at each position group.
Okay.
Obviously, I think a lot of people will be tuned in, and some are maybe unfamiliar with some of the things going on at these position groups. So, Mark, as you please here.
Okay. I assume, like we said, that we don't think many starters are playing. I feel like we've covered quarterback enough. Do we really need to go down the quarterback route? I feel like we've covered that quite a bit.
I think we've hit that enough.
Okay, so let's go running back then. Jonathan Taylor not playing. What we got here? I've heard Seth McGowan's had a very good camp. DJ Giddens listed on the depth chart at number 2. What we got going for the running backs?
I'm glad you mentioned the depth chart because at certain spots they have like they have for the backup spot, Riley Leonard or Anthony Richardson, but they do have DJ Giddens as the number 2 running back, which I think is not going to be the case going into the season. So I'm excited to see Seth McGowan in an NFL game, in an NFL setting, and particularly when it comes to pass protection, KB, because that to me is the only thing that could really hold him back from being JT's backup.
I'm going to go with Anderson Castle, number 42. It might be in the second half, but this is a rolling ball of butcher knives. I think I said that on Tuesday, Mark, to quote Chuck Pagano. He's kind of got a fun throwback run style.
He's got the throwback number.
Yeah, throwback number. The only thing that's missing is the cowboy collar. He's got to get that going. He needs, Brian Coxell cowboy collar. He needs on there. But I'll go with Ulysses Bentley the fourth too. He's a little different change of pace. Than some of the others. So yeah, McGowan I think is probably the one that I would mention first, but a couple others on my mind.
Let's go. Sorry, my mic was off. Let's go tight end group. They have a smorgasbord at tight end behind Tyler Warren. There's 6 tight ends in total. We think there might be keeping 4 of them. What are you looking at for tight end tonight?
Well, I mean, come on. How many Notre Dame basketball connections can I make?
God, make me throw up here.
To the team. But James, in all seriousness,
I am curious.
tonight is the correct me if I'm wrong. Tonight is the first ever football game number 45 Carson Tout will have played in his life.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. It's an NFL football game tonight, and number 45 for the Colts will be playing in his first ever football game.
Yeah.
And it's the National Football League. So, yeah, fourth quarter, Carson Tout. He's caught a couple passes here in training camp. Notre Dame basketball player from last year. I think at this point, seemingly, James, almost every NFL team does this. Let's find the basketball athlete that we can turn into a tight end. Mo Alley Cox, Eric Swope. The list goes on and on. So I'll go with the man that can't throw a free throw into the ocean, and I cussed him out probably way too many times than he would care for last year, Carson Tout.
Well, I mean, he's starting his career like Antonio Gates. He's just going to go into the Hall of Fame one day, and we'll look back on this and say, this is where you started it. So clearly, he knows what he's doing. Wouldn't you agree?
How about this Brian Cox horse collar?
Oh, boy.
Can we get
that looks like he has like a desk chair behind him.
Yeah, that looks like a My Pillow or something.
Oh,
That's so
gosh.
true. Thank you to listener Brian for sending this.
That's
in.
crazy.
Fitting there, Brian sends this in. It does look like one of those. That's a modern day CEO. That's a modern day head of HR.
Yeah.
He's got one of those gamer chairs
That does
shoved
like
in
a
the back
gamer
of his
chair.
jersey.
Yeah, for sure. But as far as my tight end takeaways, besides the Hall of Fame career of Carson Tout starting tonight, would be Will Mallory. I thought Will Mallory showed up a lot during the joint practice, and he's just somebody who's kind of been hanging on in that tight end room. And I just wonder if tonight and even beyond tonight, he's someone who can work his way into this Colts offense. He seems to always catch the ball down the field.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there room for him
Yeah.
on the 53, or is it too luxury?
We can circle back to the offense. I want to flip the field to the defensive side. Pass rush. Well, we're looking at the edge rusher. If you want to go all defensive line, however you want to break it down, give me what you're looking for on the front of the defensive line.
Well, selfishly, I would like to see DeForest Buckner be out there. He won't, in my opinion. He'll probably be in part of that slew that doesn't play, but I want to see if DeForest Buckner can be DeForest Buckner before this preseason is over. And so we'll wait and see on that. But as far as the other guys, George Gums. I thought George Gums had a pretty good joint practice in New England. He continues to make a few flash plays, and to his credit, he is not getting chewed out by Lou Anarumo like he did the first time he made a play in camp. He got a little excited there and maybe didn't finish the play, and Lou let him hear about it. But he just continues to flash, Kevin, and I wonder if he can break his way into that defensive end rotation. Don't expect him to be a starter, but a situational guy to help you put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, if they're not going to do Arden Key, Jalen Tuimalo out in a game, which I'm a little skeptical they will, yes, I'm going to go to those rookies. I'll throw Caden Curry in there as well. But, yeah, Gums, 52 for those watching tonight, number 52, the old Samson Ebicom number. He would be the one. Because I do think Gums and Curry are both kind of like one injury away from they're playing 24 snaps in a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll go with both of those rookie edge rushers.
Okay, I'm going to the position group that has the most unknowns, the most open position battles, and the one that I am the most concerned with heading into the regular season. We're going linebackers here.
I mean, no one sits, right, James? Everybody plays a linebacker, right? There's no one that would sit. I mean, C.J. Allen, of course, is hurt.
Yeah.
But, you're not protecting any of them, are you?
No, even Akeem Davis-Gaither, who's a veteran, should probably be out there. And I guess to throw a name out there that's kind of quietly had some moments. Wes Weeks, the undrafted rookie linebacker out of LSU. He's actually gotten some first-team reps
47?
throughout training camp.
Is that his
Yes,
number?
47. You're a sicko. This off memory?
Well, it's him, and then 48 is the kid from Canada, right? Verasuk.
Yeah, you're, again, a sicko. I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now, but I can't name these guys' numbers. Lord have mercy. This lets you know we need to have real football. Kevin's been knee-deep in the roster and the depth chart for about 3 weeks now.
Now, it is funny. Matt Taylor's going to join us here in 20 minutes. You know, he walks around with that one-sheeter. It's laminated.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. He's like the smart kid in junior high, quizzing himself during passing periods. I'll look over and I'll be like, is he talking to himself?
Yeah.
And what is he doing? He's memorizing numbers. And, of course, on the flip, he's got the Patriots. I'm like, man.
That's how I was with Rake yesterday. I was asking him, like, how's his pronunciation guide going and all that. And he was giving me 10 page, like, he had like 10 sentence bios on guys and everything like that. He was breaking it down.
I remember this is kind of a nerdy thing, but I remember watching a video with the Notre Dame radio announcer, and he would say that to practice, he would write a name on the dry erase board in the offseason, and then he would have to say and write down 10 things about that player. So, hometown, what they're studying, where they're at in the roster, is there a connection from their high school coach, blah, blah, blah. But you never know who's going to be the player of the game.
Jeez. Respect.
How about that?
They make it look easy.
Preseason has to be the most daunting for any play-by-play person.
And two, now they don't cut till the end of the preseason.
Yeah.
Remember, they used to do like a few cuts, 90 to 75 to 53. It's now, the final roster cuts what? August 30th?
August 30th, I think, yeah.
It's a Sunday night after the preseason finale, so I'm not too thrilled about that.
Hopefully it doesn't fall on the same night of the Kesha concert. Otherwise, you'll really be pissed off.
Now that you say that, I think it might be, and you just broke my heart.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to check that while you throw another one.
All right, let's go from I'd say the weakest position group on the roster to what we believe is one of the strengths, the secondary. Who are we looking at for in the secondary tonight?
Well, without Javarius Ward in the joint practice, and of course he wouldn't have played tonight anyway, and Sauce Gardner, one guy who I'm quietly thinking, will you make the team, is Jalen Jones. He's somebody who started for this team a couple years ago, 7th-round pick from a few years ago, and he's kind of fallen down the depth chart, Kevin, and I'm not sure that he's going to make the cut. So he needs to have, I think, some good showing tonight and in the upcoming preseason games to kind of stake his case to be on the team. Oh, boy, it is on the 30th.
Oh.
That's rough.
Well, you can multitask.
Roster
Fist
cut
pump
is at
in
6.
one hand and type with the other.
7 is the start of the concert.
Did you know that, Mark?
No, I didn't.
That
was a
was
complete
sick.
guess.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Mr.
That's
Dykton.
sick. I hope some of the stuff that happened at Cody's bachelor party happens to you this
Oh,
week.
jeez.
Boy,
that's rude.
That's real venom.
I said some, not all.
Well,
broken ribs.
I would say the majority of it was pretty
Did you see the laundry
bad.
list of injuries that happened in
Yeah.
that thing? I don't want fire, broken ribs. You're wishing a lot of stuff
broken
on me.
ribs just sounds like the worst kind of injury, too.
Do you have Cody's stats again? We might need to dial those up one more time.
I'll have to look that up. Kesh, I got nothing to do Sunday night. Maybe I'll go to Kesh and I'll tell you how it is.
Yeah, just Justin Wally play. Yeah, again, it could be his not first football game, to be clear, but his first ever NFL game, and then just kind of building depth there because James, that Mooney Ward situation, I'm glad you brought that up earlier. It's another reminder, and again, Cam Taylor-Britt is only going to be suspended for a game, but it's just a reminder of that position group. You rely on your 4th and 5th and 6th corners, and I think one good sign at Colts training camp so far is when the second unit corners roll out there, I do the mental check of them, and I'm like, oh, wow, all those guys were starting last year. Like Mekhi Blackman, Jalen Jones, Cameron Mitchell before he got hurt. It's Jonathan Edwards. I'm like, wow, all those dudes were playing a ton for this team last year.
Right.
Well, now they're all second unit guys. That's good. That means healthy depth. But still, you want to continue to build that. And part of me thinks that Mooney Ward situation earlier about his back and not making the trip to New England kind of has me thinking that.
All right, let's jump back to offense. Let's go wide receiver. James and the other Colts reporters out there said it was a bit iffy, aside from Josh Downs and Tyler Warren. Who are we targeting in the preseason for the wide receivers tonight?
I'll let you go first on this, KB.
Yeah, Coleman Owen will be the name that I keep on coming back to, Mark. Number 9, he's a guy that I think will actually do some returns as well. There's kind of 3 slot receivers not named Josh Downs. Anthony Gould, Deion Burks, kind of body types of slot, but he plays outside as well. And then Coleman Owen. I think there's room for one of those 3 on the roster. And for me, I might go with Owen, to be honest with you here. So he would be one that I'm going to watch. And I think it's a huge night for Deion Burks. Number 80, the 7th-round pick out of Oklahoma. Huge night because I don't think it's been super steady for him by any means.
As I mentioned earlier, Samir Hagans is somebody I'm keeping an eye on. He is number 11 out of Duke. Got some kick return abilities, but also will he make the team just based off depth and what he's done kind of from that standpoint. And then one guy's kind of flown under the radar, and mainly because he just hasn't really flashed that much in camp, is Anthony Gould. Is he someone that's going to make the roster? He's been on the team the last couple of years, but it's a little crowded, I think, on the back half of that Colts wide receiver room, and I'm curious to see how it shakes out.
All right, last but not least, let's go offensive line. Any major concerns or players we should be looking at on the offensive line tonight?
Well, James, correct me if I'm wrong. The snap issues have kind of quieted down with those backup centers.
They have, but again, you want to see more consistency there just overall. So in a game, I think Dalton Tucker was taking some of those snaps early on throughout camp as the backup at center, and can he just get it under control? And tonight is a good opportunity for him to kind of showcase that.
Yeah, I'll go there. There's not really anybody like super intriguing. Maybe Jalen Varmer, the 4th-round pick out of Kentucky, number 62. Again, the starting unit has been intact all throughout, but he would be one that I would go with.
Okay. Do we need to go kicker? I'm assuming they're going to go the quarterback route and kind of whoever starts tonight, they'll rotate at the half maybe or something.
That would be my assumption too, Mark. I mean, again, not to get into windy conditions tonight in Foxborough. James, you did say it was windy-ish the other day.
Yeah.
It is the one outdoor preseason game you play. So yes, I think it would be advantageous and smart to split those kicker reps and then split them as you play. I mean, honestly, in my mind, you could probably name Groupie the winner, but I understand it. Schrader's come back from a serious injury. You probably want to give him as much. There's no point, I guess, in naming a starting kicker right now.
Yeah, but that news is coming, and we would all be shocked if Groupie were to blow his lead.
Mark, do you have those bachelor party stats from Cody?
It was Chad.
I think they. Yeah, Chad. Let's not throw someone else in there. I think it was Chad said that.
Cody was the one that told me he was going to Costco at Colts camp the other day to buy you toilet paper.
I didn't get any delivery of toilet paper. I had to go to myself to Sam's Club and get some, so I could have used some, but whatever. I don't remember what Chad's stats are. They kind of got lost in the chat a little bit, but someone got broken ribs. 3 guys puked. There was a fire. One guy got divorced. A couple of guys got disowned from the family.
And then we were making fun of people because the 2 guys who got lost seemed like they were like okay.
Oh yeah, give me the guys that got lost over puked. I'd take lost all day. How are you getting lost in
and then how lost are we talking? We're just talking about hey, couldn't find them.
They're in the backyard, whatever. Yeah. Having something.
But
something
if you're saying
behind
lost,
the tree or something.
There was okay, we went out with you last night and didn't see you that morning. That's a little rough.
You take mushrooms and just wander into the woods? What happened there? Stars fall on the purple giraffe. What?
Oh, Lord.
Well, good luck to you, Mark, this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, again, my biggest concern so far is just the conditions of the golf course. I hope I'm not tracking people on GPS or putting air tags in people's pockets.
Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, and 10. Let's go ahead and check it out.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, coming up tonight, 7:30. Again, our airwaves, our pregame coverage will begin with the pregame huddle all the way at 4:30, and then countdown to kickoff network coverage at 6:30. Matt Taylor, Charles Arbuckle on the radio call. TV-wise, Fox 59. That is Lara Overton on the sidelines, Rick Venturi as the color analyst, and Greg Rakestraw as your play-by-player. So we'll continue to get you set for that. Tonight, Grand Park. They'll be back there at the Droplight Grand Park campus. Saturday and Sunday, 4 o'clock start times for each of those practices. James, you're off to Fever practice here in a little bit, and they've got the Wings, correct, tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't been over to practice in a couple of weeks because of Colts camp, but just want to check in and see how things are going. I am going to the game tomorrow night, so excited to see the Fever in person. And again, they have a chance to keep climbing. Right now, they're 4th in the WNBA standings. I think they're only about a game or 2 back from the 3 seed, so just trying to continue to build momentum for the playoffs and then build your positioning in the playoffs with more home court advantage.
Yeah, they won 7 of 9. Again, Fever Wings is only the second time they've met this season. It was the opener when high-scoring affair when Dallas outlasted Indiana in that one. So Paige Becker's Caitlin Clark action coming up tomorrow night inside of Gainbridge Field. Also off to Atlanta on Sunday to take on the Dream. News from the Pacers yesterday. I love this. Tyrese Halliburton is going to get to go back to his college arena. That would be Hilton Coliseum, Ames, Iowa, for the preseason opener, it sounds like. And that, I guess, will mean the first time we see Tyrese Halliburton in a Pacers uniform post-Achilles will be on Wednesday, October 7th. And that will be the first preseason game for the Pacers. They'll be at home October 10th against the Hawks. We're still waiting official preseason schedule there, but I think it makes total sense. You cater to your star. Sounds like this is his idea. Clearly, that place means a whole lot to him. Proposed to his now wife in that arena. The Timberwolves, their G League affiliate, the Iowa Wolves, is located in Des Moines, so makes sense on that aspect too. We sometimes see this in the preseason, some alternate sites, alternate venues for games. So I love that. And now we've got some appointment television here, middle of the week in October 7th.
I will be seated. Got to see Tyrese Halliburton throw down that first through the legs dunk like Obi Toppin.
Of course, I say appointment television, and now I think to myself, where the hell am I watching that? Because now I'm starting to get nervous. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why do I feel like they don't air the preseason road games?
Well, you know me. I'll find a way. But
Mr. Boyd checking in on Russian server. Want to watch some Iowa basketball.
Yeah, don't worry. That game will be watched by me.
Gus Putin is who you have to go through to get your stream.
You know, the old laptop might take a beating when it comes to some virus protection and things like that.
Why is my laptop 138 degrees when I touch it right now?
Give Mr. Boyd authorization. That's okay.
But I do hope it is aired somewhere, right? It has to be.
My heart is now sunk twice in the last 10 minutes. One, when you told me Kesha was the same day as NFL roster cuts. And now two, me thinking that, but is that a Pacers home preseason game? Chris, Quinn, JJ, go. Drive.
Yeah, yes. Make this happen.
Fly some way, somehow. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Debut it on the linear television that hopefully the games will be broadcast
Now
on.
you're getting out of your skis a little bit here.
I agree with Mark.
At least stream it on the website. Do Pacers.com do a live stream? You got to do that at least.
That reminds me of, this is how crazy things have changed for the Fever. A few years ago, their games were on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Facebook Live.
Yeah, I know. I remember stumbled upon a couple of them.
And now every game is on national television. Things have changed.
Yeah, they've changed.
But
certainly.
hey, I'll take Facebook Live for the Pacers preseason opener if I have to.
Normal ESPN tonight for your Fernando Mendoza watchers. Raiders Cardinals. Sounds like Mendoza will get a decent amount of run here. Right now, the backup to Kirk Cousins, assuming Cousins has avoided any Max Crosby physical altercations there. Major League Baseball last night, Mark. 3 homers for Mr. Bregman.
1, 2, 3. The guy has had a horrific start to the season. Everybody's like, what did we pay this guy for 5 years, $175 million? He is scorching hot right now at the plate. It helps that they're playing the Nationals, but he has driven the ball into the seats a ton lately.
I knew the Reds were done last night when I saw a nun throwing out the first pitch for the White Sox. I was like, I mean, might as well just not even show up. How many hits did they have? 2. How many prayers did that nun do on the mound before the game? 2.
I wanted that Pope hat. That Pope hat looks sweet.
Seemed like it sold out a ton. So
the tickets were going for like World Series prices.
Shout out to the White Sox and that aspect to them. Indianapolis Indians won down in Nashville. They'll be home, back-to-back home weekends, or home series, I should say, to close out August. Retirement for Russell Westbrook. James, certainly one of the more unique NBA players of all time.
Yes, and just an absolute force of nature on the basketball court. He wasn't loved by everybody, but I think all of us can respect the energy, the passion he displayed on the basketball court. He is truly one of one.
Let's head to a break, get a little weather update. On the other side, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, going to join us next.
Today's forecast from the Fox 59 Weather Authority.
After a foggy start, it will be warm and humid with mostly cloudy skies. More scattered showers and thunderstorms develop this afternoon and evening. A couple of strong to severe storms are possible. Highs will rise into the mid-80s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Now tonight, 12 hours from now, Matt Taylor he'll be calling an Anderson Castle 6-yard gain, just mowing over people. Number 42, needing the horse collar, needing to look like Brian Cox. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor. Usually joins us Fridays in football season.
I know.
He's joining us on this Thursday morning here, and I believe he's called the New England area home for quite a few days now. Matt Taylor, good morning, sir. Happy game day.
Good morning, boys. I'm happy that it is game day. I have been here a minute. I'm ready to call a game tonight. Just with the excitement of being back in the booth. But I'm also excited to be home at 3:00 in the morning tonight. So tonight'll be a good night. Tomorrow will be a good day to be home.
Well, you look great on the YouTube. We were joking earlier, not really joking, I guess. Right now, I feel like your life is phone, wallet, keys, and that one sheeter of laminated paper to memorize all the numbers.
That's pretty much it. I don't leave the house without those essentials. That's pretty much what I've been. I've had my nose buried in the depth chart for both teams. Like the first week and a half, it's the Colts side of that paper, Kevin, and then the last 7 or 8 days, it's been the Patriots depth chart. And you know how it goes this time of year. You got 90-man rosters, but it's so fluid. I mean, every team seemingly is making a roster move this time of year every single day. So it's crossing this guy off, putting this guy on, and reprinting things and redoing your prep and your boards and stuff like that. So it's you got to be on your toes this time of year. And I've had a lot of time to spend in the hotel room, which has been good because I've just basically spent that going over 90 guys and trying to be on top of their stories and what makes them special and what they kind of bring to the table in a game like this tonight where they're trying to show out and prove their worth to the NFL.
Again, that's the voice of Matt Taylor, who is also the voice of the Colts. Join us. Mayte, when you look at the opportunities that are out there for Anthony Richardson and Riley Leonard, how much do you think this game matters for both guys that continue this backup battle?
Yeah, I think it matters a great deal. And what I'm excited about tonight with that battle in mind is just to watch these guys get into a flow, because I think the Colts are doing the right thing by letting each guy get an entire half. So that's going to equate to usually about 5 or 6 series. And hopefully for both guys, it equates to like a 2-minute drill, at the end of a half or at the end of a game. Obviously you'd want to see an apples to apples comparison as best you can. But, I think it's for those that don't know, I mean, you guys know this, but the training camp for a backup quarterback, you don't get a ton of reps during the course of practice, and you get even less reps when you're splitting up those second team reps between 2 different guys. So for Anthony Richardson and Riley Leonard, it's not like this every single day, but generally speaking, during a practice period when the Colts will do 11-on-11 work, you're looking at 6 or 7 reps. Let the other guy do 6 or 7 reps, and then you wait 20 minutes to get 6 or 7 more reps. So it's just kind of like staccato, it's like start, stop, start, stop. And I think both guys are better quarterbacks. They're better versions of themselves as players when they get into a flow. Obviously, a lot of guys are like that, but I think these 2 guys specifically, they can show off their mobility a little bit more tonight. They can just get into more of a flow. I think it's probably safe to say that Anthony Richardson and Riley Leonard are more gamers than they're not. And so from that standpoint, I'm looking forward to just seeing the consistency, the good decision making, have both guys get into a flow, show off that mobility a little bit, and just sort of like get them in game mode, which they haven't been sort of afforded that ability to do that so far in camp.
Yeah, that leg element, I would agree wholeheartedly on the gamer aspect to them. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, live here. He's joining us tonight, 7:30. It will be him. It will be Charles Arbuckle on the radio call. Then Lara Overton obviously slide over regular season from her TV duties here in the preseason.
Yep, Lara's on TV in the preseason, then we get her back in the regular season.
Well, we are approaching the 1-year anniversary of one of my favorite radio calls from you guys. Mark Dykton, can you cue this up?
touchdown, Ulysses Bentley, driving that Bentley across the goal line. Yes, sir. And the Colts now lead it 16-7.
Ulysses Bentley, they see me rolling in the end zone.
Epic, Marconi worthy. Tell me we got something for Anderson Castle tonight. I mean, there's got to be something ready for Mr. Castle, number 42.
You know, I always say, like, the best moments are just organic, off the cuff. I didn't have that ready to go, man. Like, it just flowed. It just came out, you know, like the salmon of Capistrano. It was just there, man. It just flowed beautifully. So I don't know what I got for Anderson Castle. Hopefully I like to think I'm okay on the fly. You know what I mean? Like it's doing play-by-play is just like sort of, it's like a constant game of Mad Libs, you know? So we'll see. I mean, off the top of the cuff, you know, Anderson Castle gets in, you know, we'll pull out some, you know, he's royalty living in the castle or, you know, something to that effect. I don't know. We got 12 hours to figure it out.
You do, and you are very good off the cuff. James has mentioned Samir Hagan's number 11, the whiteout. You know, again, I've mentioned Castle. I think Coleman Owen will have, you know, a ton of run here in the preseason. Just any other, maybe even third or fourth quarter guys. Just, you know, tonight, I think the Carson Tout story is a great story. It's his first ever football game, period. The tight end, number 45. So you study this roster better than anybody. Any other kind of fun storylines for you?
Yeah, those are really good ones. And I know it's not really too far down on the depth chart, but like, how about a guy like Austin Ajike? You know, like he's getting a legitimate chance to run with the first team. And it's really unique in the fact that the Colts are using 6 different linebackers between the first team and the second team so far in camp. And day to day, you don't know who those guys are going to be. You know, some guys might be with the 2s one day and get, you know, 8 or 10 reps with the 1s the next day and vice versa. So I think the Colts are going to be pretty intentional about that this year. And Ajike is squarely in the mix, and he's a great story. I mean, the guy just works his tail off. He's heading into his 4th year in the NFL. You know, was a special teams guy for a lot of last year. Did get some run on defense, but, you know, he played like 70% of the special teams a year ago. How about Byron Matos? He's a Dominican Republic born individual, and he is a large man. He's 6'6", 6'7". You mentioned Carson Tout, the basketball player. Matos was a basketball player too. I believe started playing basketball, you know, came to the United States to play basketball and then transferred a couple of times, ended up at South Florida and then walked on their football team and then transferred into an offense or transition, I should say, into an offensive tackle. And here he is. I mean, just a great story. And, you know, I think he's vying for one of those practice squad positions. And, you know, you never know based on injuries and things like that. He might get some run for the Colts in the regular season. We just always see the war of attrition really kind of rack up within that position group every year for every team. So, yeah, that's the beauty of this, guys. There's 90 guys and there's 90 different stories. Right, you got guys like Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren that are just so well chronicled. But then you've got guys towards the end of the roster, so to speak, you know, Giante McMillan and Mekhi Rogers and, you know, Trey Washington. And, you know, what are we going to see from the draft picks? You know, guys like George Gums and Caden Curry. Obviously, Curry's the local product. So that's what I do enjoy about the preseason, especially once we get into the second halves of games and, you know, the work from the 1s and the 2s is done. Now you're starting to tell stories and, you know, you're putting things into context for the listener. Like, who are these guys? You know, why, what makes them special? What do they bring to the table and how do they get here? What's their journey? Right. So it's kind of like, you blend football play-by-play and baseball storytelling as best you can, you know, throughout the course of a third and fourth quarter of a preseason game.
I think it's a great pairing. Matt Taylor, Charles Arbuckle, they'll have you covered. Again, our pregame coverage will begin all the way up at 4:30. Countdown to kickoff network coverage at 6:30. And then those two got you for the kickoff at 7:30. I'll throw in 2 local numbers for those watching, listening tonight. Caden Curry, number 55, and then Eli Pancol, the Pendleton native, number 83 there.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, but Pankol's a great story too. You know, the Pendleton Heights track player, you know, Duke, I mean, he's balling out. Like he's getting a lot of time here with the second team offense. Without Alec Pearson's just sort of the dominoes numbers game. Pankel's going up and making contested catches. Also, if I could splash one more guy in there, number 34, Ben Nickel. And he's a great story. Started off as a Division II player, went to Iowa State as a walk-on, and then was basically a mainstay within their secondary. But now in the NFL, he's transitioned back to a wide receiver where he started his college football career at a Division II school, McPherson College in Kansas, I believe. So, I mean, like, how does a guy like that end up on an NFL roster? Well, it's just grit, it's fortitude, it's passion, it's work ethic, right? It's just your character and your mental makeup. So, just highlighting guys like that, again, it's going to be really fun tonight.
Ben Nichols made a few plays up there
He
at the drop
has.
plate.
Look at Mayte just rattling that stuff up. What a pro.
He could go on for 3 hours. The good news is we get him for 3 hours.
I know. It's kind of cool, too, though. Eli Pankel played with Riley Leonard at Duke.
Sure.
Yeah, so did Samir Hagans. Yeah, you mentioned Samir Hagans. He did, too. Yeah.
Got a lot of Duke flavor there in the quarterback and wide receiver room. Mate, have a great call, man. I know these conversations will hopefully shift to Fridays once we get into more of a normal Saturday or Sunday, of course, flow during the regular season. So
yeah,
enjoy that. Enjoy hugging the family in the wee hours of the morning, and we'll see you up there Saturday.
All right, I'll FaceTime you at 3 a.m. Maybe you guys can help me set turn my alarm off when I get in with like 6 bags from being on the road. But yeah, I can't wait to be with you guys every week. Looking forward to it.
That is Matt Taylor right there, live from the hotel room up there in the New England area. And again, him and Charles Arbuckle, who does a great job on air.
Yeah.
They're going to have you covered here.
Who's the real Buck? Is it Charles Arbuckle or is it DeForest Buckner? I have to get to the bottom of this beef, which I'm just throwing out there. It's a joke. But
I don't want to say that to either. Two super nice dudes,
yes. Though. But they're also super big dudes. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go around starting stuff. But also, real quick, I will say, if Matt Taylor were to FaceTime me at 3 a.m., he might be one of like 5 people on earth I would answer for.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I would say no.
No?
No.
I think he would need something. I would answer that and be like, where are you? I'm coming.
I'm nervous he'd be looking at his one sheeter of roster numbers and he just butt dialed me and I wasted waking up for that.
Now, what if he called you on like August 29th and he's trying to give you the roster cuts ahead of time so you can enjoy Kesha? You still wouldn't pick it up?
Yeah. I'm still mad at you. And I'm frustrated. It's going to be you and I.
Mad at me.
Now it's got to be you and I for the final segment because James Boyd's off to fever practice. So great. Mark and I.
Mark, hold it down.
What could go wrong?
One final time here on a Thursday.
The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Here we go. Good end, Mark Dyked into the game day playlist.
I think I killed it.
Again, your 9 o'clock hour I didn't love. Outside of that, you were excellent.
Well, the Who is a staple at Lucas Oil. Like, come on now.
Again, to me, it sounded like you've been eliminated from the playoffs, and we're going to try to tailgate because we have nothing else better to do.
I guarantee you will hear Sweet Escape at some point during the preseason of a Colts game, whether it's in the visiting soundboard or at Lucas Oil. You'll hear that during a coach's challenge or something. Promise you that.
Honestly, it sounded like the song I should have played yesterday watching Rosie Bowen walk into school.
Did you get any tears in the eyes?
Again, the stomach started to churn a little bit. I swear, man, she looked 2 inches taller yesterday.
You're like, when did this happen?
I was like, and then she's saying she's got another tooth that's loose. And
oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, my gosh, is this my life now?
It's your life, and you're going to blink, and you're going to say, when the hell did all this happen? How are you in 4th grade already? How are you? Wait, you're almost out of elementary school? What's going on here?
No, it was a fun day. Yeah, I was really glad I was able to take it off and see her off. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I don't have to worry about the morning duty at the Bowen household.
Yeah, I thank Ashley every single day because I'm like, the couple times I've done it, I'm like, this is a madhouse. I don't understand what's going on here. There's a lot of everybody's in and out of the shower, breakfast really quick, got to get them out to school on time. Like, this is chaos.
So we're in 3 drop-off season. We're gonna be that for 2 years now. 3 different drop-offs. I mean, I got Max Bowen bitching at me about how much peanut butter I put on his toast. I'm like, come on, man.
Too much, too little?
I think it was too much. I'm like, hey, can we just go? So then I'm dropping Max off, and I'm trying to get back to make sure I'm with Rosie and get her. Oh, boy. Gosh, God bless Maddie Bowen. God bless Ashley Dykton.
God bless all the moms and wives out there because they do a lot.
Amen. Yeah. And again, morning, like we've got the afternoon tilt, Mark, much easier than the mornings. I take afternoons over mornings 1,000.
Oh, at that point, yeah, they're ready for a nap or something like that. They're ready to wind down.
Hey, one of our other children just showed up.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that hour, right? Didn't we have this guy as our child for quite a while?
Yep. Usually wake up, come on, Jakey. Got to get up for the day, Jakey. Come on. It's work time.
Man, I wish he heard that. Of course,
I can hear it. I can hear it because whoever has these headsets has them like volume 50.
I swear JMV can't hear.
I almost blew out my eardrums yesterday sitting at that desk because I'm like, that was the last place he was at. It was cranked.
It's
like,
unbelievable. I'm like, he's got fake everything else. Can he not get fake eardrums?
I could hear from the hallway.
Wow.
He takes pride in that, does he not?
That was Kevin Bowen that said that, by the way. I don't know what you guys were talking about, but I walked in and heard that there was some sort of discussion between morning and afternoon, and I thought, well, this has got to be like, if it's about what time you got to get up during the daytime, there is no discussion on that, right?
It's perfect for you. Mark just had a show of game day playlist songs. What pops in your mind if you think of a game day playlist?
Are we talking about the typical Colts game day playlist? Anything from 1982? I don't know.
Play the Who, and I played the Who and a couple other ones.
You got Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Taking Care of Business. I want to bang on the drum all day.
I don't think I heard some Todd
Rundgren.
Yeah. I always butcher it.
Anything from, I mean, the RCA Dome into the first half of the Lucas Oil Stadium deal, but they were very sensitive about that. You couldn't say anything about it.
Hey, I was at Mellencamp's concert a few weeks back. White shirt Mellencamp first set. Oh, boy. A little shaky. He put on the black shirt for the second set. New man.
I heard actually it was decent, right?
Very good. I mean, his first song or two, I looked at some people like, oh, boy. But then after that, I thought he was excellent. Seriously.
He just played the Hollywood Bowl. That's cool, right?
Which honestly kind of sounds like Jake on most of these days, right?
It's like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get.
Jake Query's got you 10-1.
I'm like Benjamin Button. I just get younger by the day. You guys can say what you want.
7:30 tonight, Colts and Patriots. We'll recap it tomorrow morning.